Hello and welcome to the Nethergreen podcast, episode 55. We only missed 1 week, I think.
No, it's been 3 weeks, mate.
It's been 3 weeks?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't feel like it's been 3 weeks.
No, it has, yeah, it's been 3 weeks.
So we didn't do one last week?
Or the week before.
Or the week before?
Yeah.
But we must have done one the week before that.
Think about it, mate. We've watched 3 episodes of Doctor Who, that's 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
I mean, time flies when you're doing stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it only feels like it's been 1 week. Really? 3?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess, to be fair, a lot is... Yeah, I guess I've done a shit ton of stuff since we did the last podcast episode, so... Yeah.
What sort of shit you been doing?
See, I can't even remember when we did, actually, when exactly we did, in correlation to all of the stuff that I've been doing, what day it was.
It would have been... we would have recorded it May 11th.
May the 11th.
Yeah, so 3 weeks to the day.
3 weeks exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly 3 weeks. Okay. So, I guess since then I got told that I was getting a bonus.
Nice.
Haven't got the bonus yet.
No, that sucks.
So I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. Maybe the CEO's just lazy and he hasn't ordered it yet or something. But I mean, I guess I'm not too fussed if I don't get it. It doesn't change my life in any way if I don't get it.
Yeah,
my life
that's
is
true.
exactly the same as if I never got it in the first place. So yeah. And met a couple of other people on YC co-founder matching. One in particular, that was a guy named Mike Adams, and he has a very striking look. He looks like Wolverine.
Nice.
Really. That's the only way of me saying it. I was going to get my phone and show you, but I don't.
I mean, I know what Wolverine looks like. So.
No, but I mean, show you this guy,
Okay.
so you can see how much he looks like Wolverine.
That's pretty Wolverine, eh? Yeah.
This man is Wolverine. He's the real Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah. But he actually turned out to be a little bit of a douchebag, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
just like Wolverine.
Just like Wolverine, yeah. Just like the real Wolverine, he turned out to be a little bit of a douchebag. Yeah. And he was also, would you think from that picture that he is kind of flamboyant and gay?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, Wolverine is played by Hugh Jackman, who's a Broadway star.
Oh, is he? I didn't even know that.
He was the Greatest Showman. You can't do that role without being a little bit flamboyant.
No, but I mean like flamboyant as in like, hi, like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's a bear.
What does that mean?
He's a bear. You know.
What that means?
You don't know what bear means in the gay community.
No.
You know, big, hairy dude. Big, buff dude.
Oh, he's not big.
He's not big?
No, he's short.
Oh.
Shorter than me.
He could still be a bear and be short. If Wolverine was gay, he'd be a bear. Even though he's canonically 5'4".
Wait, really?
No, in the comics, at least, he's 5'4".
Wow, so this guy is literally Wolverine
Yeah.
in almost every way. He's got the gayness, he's got the height. Maybe he is actually just Wolverine. Yeah. And he's also a bit of a douchebag. Yeah. But yeah, he was interesting to meet. He told me all about his startup over a cup of tea at like a tea place just outside Liverpool Street Station.
I see you actually met the dude.
Yeah, I actually met him in person. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I bring it up. That's why I know he's definitely a douchebag, and he's a little bit gay and flamboyant. Yeah.
Well, what made him a douchebag?
So he was telling me about his startup idea. He liked to use his hands while he was describing his startup and like doing stuff and like.
That's not a douchebag. That's not douchebag.
No. I'm leading up to it.
Okay.
Which that doesn't sound too bad, but I feel like this added context makes it a little bit more uncomfortable. We were sitting really, really close to one another. So his hands, as he's doing these motions, are literally like coming up to here to my face, like almost touching me. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, imagine me sitting like basically on the chair with you.
Why
like,
were you sitting so close to him?
So we went to like this cafe, and I sat in front of him, but I guess I didn't see how thin the table is and how close the two chairs are. So the table is like this thin, and so we are literally knee to knee sitting in front of each other, and he's like really expressive with his hands, and I'm like moving. I'm not actually, but like it felt like I'd have to move back out of the way as he's doing stuff with his hands. And he tells me all about his startup idea. It's called Intro Stars. I didn't really get it, to be honest, but anyway. And then he asked me about me. He said, so what about you? And I told him about me. And then, and he was like, oh, so what startup ideas have you been working on? And I started telling him about the uniform one, like the secondhand uniform one. I might mention it on the podcast. Yeah. And as I started telling it, he started going like visibly pulling a face, being like, oh, essentially. Yeah. And he was like, I think that's a terrible idea. He said that to my face.
At least he's honest.
In a cafe. And I was like, oh, why do you think it's a terrible idea? And he was like, well, I only pursue business ideas that could make me $10 billion.
Oh, wow. What?
And I was like, after just explaining like a business idea to essentially help, poorer income families, poorer income mums to like buy school uniform, which a lot of parents can't because it is expensive. And he pulls a face being like, this won't make me $10 billion. There's like, I think big, basically was what he was saying. And I just thought, wow, this guy's a douchebag.
Yeah, fuck
this guy's a big douchebag.
At least he's honest.
I mean, yeah, at least he accepts that he is a douchebag and he rolls with it and really, plays that part. But yeah, what else? I went out for like dinner with everyone at work and
that was during this time. Yeah.
I lost my phone.
Yeah.
And I thought I lost my company laptop, but luckily I didn't. Me and Trishul were both just drunk, and we put the bag down in his living room. Then, we put it down, go into the guest room. Oh my God, where's the laptop? We must have lost it. We must have left it in the taxi. Yeah, so we were just drunk. But my phone, I did actually lose that. Yeah, I didn't just like put it in a couch.
Oh, talk to the audience. What sort of phone was that? What did you lose?
It was a phone that I've only just also recently finished paying off. So I got it 2 years ago. It was an iPhone 13 Pro. Yeah, very nice. It was in pristine condition. And I'd just finished paying off the monthly thing for it, literally that same month. That's and nice. I thought, oh, amazing. I don't have to pay it anymore. That's an extra, whatever it is, money that I can keep.
Yeah.
And then I fucking lose it. Now I have to get a brand new one. So I've just started again. I've got to wait 2 more years now till I can finish paying it off. And that sucks. That really sucks.
That's unfortunate.
And also, this new phone, is kind of glitchy. In some of the apps and like some of the things that it does, it's a little bit glitchy. And also I feel like the battery life on my old phone was longer. So I'm essentially now paying a little bit more for a newer phone, which is worse. So I feel terrible.
What phone do you have now?
It's the 15 Pro Max.
I mean, I've not heard much about it. I'll be blunt. Yeah.
15 Pro Max. I mean, it sounds like it should be better because the number is bigger and it's got the word Max.
And Pro.
And Pro, yeah. I mean, the last one was a Pro, but this one's a Pro Max.
Yeah.
And it's worse. Maybe that's how it actually works, right? The more they add on to it, the worse the product actually is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that does. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, so
the iPhone 1, best product in the market.
That's how they do it. Yeah, actually, the bigger the number, the worse, right? Yeah. So, that's been me. Luckily, I didn't lose the company laptop because that would have sucked balls. That would have sucked real balls.
Would they have given you a new one?
I assume so, yeah, but like they wouldn't have been happy about it.
They shouldn't have. They should have been, you can't be trusted. They should have handed you
they would have given me a new laptop, but they wouldn't have invited me to the next company.
They should have handed you a notepad and been like, you're going to have to hand write it all.
You have to hand code everything, yeah. But yeah, luckily I didn't lose the laptop, because I think if I did lose the laptop, that would really hurt my chances of getting any kind of raise this year. There's no way that they would give me a raise after I lose the fucking company laptop. That would just not happen, right?
I mean, did they know you lost your phone?
They do know that I lost my phone.
Maybe it's still affected to the raise. Like they were like, man, this guy,
I hope not.
This guy can't be trusted. Yeah. If we just give him money, he's just going to lose it.
Because I put in extra the past month, just like, hopefully that they don't notice that either. Wow, this guy's just suddenly putting in loads of effort just before we do the 360
just before
review.
Payday,
before the raise. Hopefully they don't notice that, but my hopes are that I'll get a raise, and as soon as I get that raise, I'm going to do fuck all. I'm going to sit on my arse and just...
And then you'll immediately lose the raise.
And then they retract the raise, yeah. It was written in the contract in the terms.
And you'll have to pay it back wherever
I'll
you've
have
gone.
to pay it back, yeah. Wow, that would really suck.
That would suck.
Yeah, to pay it back. Yeah, but
if they fire you have to pay back every cent.
Every cent that they paid you. Yeah, that would suck quite a lot. But yeah, I think that's pretty much been it. Luke's friend of the podcast, Luke, his dad is getting remarried to the same woman, but I think they're just doing it.
But it's not his mum.
No, it is Luke's mum.
Oh, you worded it terribly then.
What do you mean?
Well, you say Luke's dad is getting remarried. You should have just said Luke's parents are getting remarried. Because that makes it sound like just his dad is getting remarried.
Yeah, his parents are getting remarried. I think just for fun.
Yeah.
More than
Luke's
anything.
dad is getting remarried to who fucking cares anyway.
Yeah, we only care about Luke's dad.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And so a part of that is we're going for Luke's dad's stag do in Amsterdam. And as you keenly observed, we are not going to be doing any drugs, and we're not going to be seeing any prostitutes. Which actually, I feel the same way. Why the fuck are we going to Amsterdam?
Also, sorry,
so
wait,
much
is
to
it
go
is
there.
it just you, Luke, and his dad?
That would be really funny if it was. No, it's not. That would be really funny if it was.
That'd be the worst stag do I've ever heard.
That would be really funny.
Who else is going then? Just a lot of his dad's friends.
His wife.
What?
No, I'm joking. That would be worse. No, it's me, Luke, Luke's dad, and Luke's two brothers. So there'll be 5 of us. It's basically all of Luke's brothers and his dad. Yeah.
That's still kind of sad.
How?
A stag do with just family and Hector, just family though. Like that's your sons too. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm not criticizing. I feel like personally. It's kind of depressing. That depressed me. If I've got to be honest,
it'll be good fun. But I do question why we went to Amsterdam specifically because how expensive it is to go there, and I'm assuming it's expensive to go there because of
fucking no idea.
The prostitutes.
No, they've always had prostitutes.
I don't know then.
I know, it's just, it's from what I know, it's changed a lot in the past couple of years, Amsterdam. I mean, I've been to Amsterdam, and it was nowhere near that expensive, but it's probably just time of year. When are you going?
July the 12th.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty peak activity time.
Yeah.
You know, during the summer holidays too.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. And so, with that in mind, we had a look at how much it would cost if we went in, like, September. Like, some random shitty time in the middle of, like, autumn.
Yeah.
Same price. Crazy.
I mean, why are you going? Why is he so set on Amsterdam if he's not going to do any drugs or see any prostitutes?
I don't know. I think he just
Is it already paid?
Yeah, it's already booked.
That sucks.
I think it's just maybe because Luke's dad has not, like, gone to Amsterdam before, so maybe he just wants the experience of, like, having a stag do in Amsterdam.
But he's going to tell people how to stag do in Amsterdam, and all of them are going to be like, "Oh shit, that sounds amazing. What did you do?" Nothing.
I'm sure we will do stuff. We'll do lots of things.
None of the cool things that you go to Amsterdam for.
I'm sure we'll do lots of cool
things. If someone told me,
not the drugs.
If someone told me they had a stag do in Amsterdam, I'd be like, holy shit. So you're off your face on hash and fucking weed. You probably ate some edibles. You probably had some mushrooms. You went and spent a night in a strip club getting sucking prostitutes' tits and all that shit. Holy shit. That sounds insane. And then they'd be like, "Oh, this is good. Listen to this. We sat in our hotel room for 2 days and played poker." Why are you going to Amsterdam?
I don't know. I don't know why he picked Amsterdam. I imagine that he just wants, like, the experience of going to Amsterdam and just...
Yeah, but the experience, there's more to it than that.
I'm not Luke's dad, right? I can only tell you what I know, and what I know is that we are indeed going, and I think it is unlikely that we'll do any, like, drugs or anything like that, so Jesus. It is what it is, but... You know, I'm sure it'll still be fun. We'll get to, like, go to the pubs. I'm sure we'll go to, like, the red light districts and, like, walk around and, like, you know.
Fuck, man, I can honestly say, as someone who doesn't smoke weed anymore, if I'm going to Amsterdam, I'm getting fucked up. If someone told me, "Hey, we're going to Amsterdam, but hey, we're not doing any drugs. I'd be like, I'm not coming. I ain't fucking coming to that. What a ridiculous idea. That's like going to Las Vegas and being like, remember guys, no gambling. Like, what? Why are you going to Las Vegas then?
Well, I think, I don't know. Yeah. I
mean, Las Vegas isn't
if I went to
gambling.
Las Vegas, I'd do gambling. If I went to...
You'd go to the casinos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember guys, no casinos. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here then? Let's go to New York or some shit.
Even if I went to Amsterdam, I probably wouldn't smoke weed.
Yeah, but that's why you haven't gone to Amsterdam.
Indeed, yeah.
So why? Oh man, this sounds it sounds painful to me.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I'm sure it'll still be fun. Like
the only hope you've got is that you just get a second-hand high from being there.
I mean, the only part that annoys me is how expensive it is. Because even for Amsterdam, I mean, the fact that it is Amsterdam to me should be enough of a reason for it to be really cheap. Because it should be like a shithole full of hookers and druggies and bums.
Yeah, but no bums. To be fair, there weren't homeless people when I went. They were all under bridges and shit where I wasn't seeing them. But
they were hiding away.
Yeah, scurrying in the night.
Yeah.
I mean,
hippies. How are hippies affording to pay 700 quid for 3 nights?
But that's the thing. Because again, it used to have that reputation, but this is probably a part of the fact that they're trying to rebrand themselves into not being that.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be that anymore.
Yeah.
They don't want to be a dirt grub shit stain on the Netherlands, you know.
Yeah.
But they always will be. I want to make that clear.
It'll never change. Yeah.
Amsterdam, no one is ever going to consider you anything other than Drug Town.
Yeah.
USA.
Yeah. It's true. But yeah.
You've already paid, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't paid, but
don't pay.
I will. Yeah.
You shouldn't.
I will.
You're going July?
Yeah.
Fucking good luck, fella.
Yeah. It'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. I mean, the only part that sucks is just how expensive it is, because we could have had the same, from my perspective, we could have had the same...
Are we still going to America?
Probably. Not in July, though.
It was going to be July July to August, around then.
It can't be July or August.
Then we're not going. I'm not going with you, at least.
I thought...
That's the 6 weeks holiday, brother. If I'm going to go, it'd be in July or August.
I thought Dan had said, like, towards the end of the year, like around December time.
I ain't fucking making it in December. If that's what he said, then good on him, but I ain't making it in December.
What? But then you'd have more money saved, right?
Well, that's irrelevant. I'm talking about just genuinely the free time I have. I'm not going to America.
If we do it in, like, because they have different, like, half-term bits. What if we did it in one of the half-terms that they have, like, in between? There's the half-term that comes after September, which is in October.
But that's like a week. Like, just a week off in general. It takes like 2 days to fly to America.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, can't you book 2 days off? So if we incorporate it with...
Yeah, but that sucks because I've got 6 weeks off where I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, July probably not going to work that well for me, or August, because I mean, every August I have a holiday with my family, and then like, yeah, so August would be a no anyway for me. Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll figure it out at some point.
I mean, what I remember Dan saying was that, like, towards the end of the year would be... I thought that was the general plan.
No, I have no idea.
What about the Christmas holidays? The Christmas holidays pretty big.
I mean, fucking 2 weeks. Maybe, but then what? We're going to be there for Christmas?
Hell yeah. Christmas in America.
No, I ain't doing that.
No. Yeah, I mean, Christmas goes a lot harder in America than it does in the UK, so there'll be more stuff for us to do.
That doesn't sound appealing to me.
Oh. Well, also he lives close to like the mountainsides and stuff, so we'd be able to go like skiing and snowboarding and things like that.
Do you think that also sounds appealing to me?
I mean, you can't tell me you don't want to go snowboarding, or at least skiing once.
I really can tell you that.
You never want to go skiing.
I don't give a shit about skiing, brother.
I maybe wouldn't go skiing, but I'd probably go snowboarding. I think Leander says the same thing.
That's what we're
going. Quite fun.
So we're gonna go up there and it's we'll figure it out. There's no point talking about it now because nothing's gonna be done or changed through this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, hopefully by that point, Dan would have sorted out, because he was talking about how, Dan's looking to get a new house. He did say towards the end of the year, hopefully. But like, yeah, it depends. Yeah. So
I mean, I'll talk to him about it, I guess. This is all I can really say. Yeah, because I mean, nothing's set in stone. Nothing's going to be set in stone during the course of this conversation. You know, not without him present. We can't just come and be like, "Hey, Dan, I'm coming in October." He'd be like, "What?" Like, we should really talk to him first.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, but at least July and August. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to see July and August.
All I can say is that wasn't. I didn't know that. I thought the plan was July, August. So if he has mentioned, "Oh yeah, come up at the end of the year," it wasn't to me. You know, that's all I know. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would come over back to the UK.
He's never coming back. I don't know how many times I need to express this. He's not coming back. He won't do it. The only way we're getting him back soonish is if we kill his mum and he has to come back for the funeral. That's it. That's the. There's no option B. And I don't want to kill his mum. He's got a lovely mum.
He said something about filming. I can't remember what it was that he said about filming the Western movie or the Western TV show.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
No, we don't need to repeat it.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably actual NDAs signed if they're filming it.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't be July or August for me, but yeah, I assumed it was towards the end of the year. But if we could either do like incorporate it with either the Christmas holiday or the half term that comes before that, then that would probably work best for me. Yeah.
I mean, if we did the fucking Christmas holiday, I don't like it. I'll just be blunt. Yeah, I don't like the idea of going for Christmas there. Dan isn't. That's not. I don't like Christmas. I don't like Christmas, and
all the best reason to go on holiday then and not celebrate Christmas.
No, but like Christmas is also like it's necessary. You know, fucking who knows how many Christmases I'm gonna get with like my family and shit. Anything could happen. Every Christmas is last Christmas. You know.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd rather not. I mean, if I live there, that's different. But I don't want to go there over Christmas specifically.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Then probably the half term. Yeah, that'd probably be the best bet then.
I don't know. I mean, fuck me though. Like, if you want to go and I'm not free, fucking go, and I'll do the same essentially.
I guess I could do, but I mean, I'm not really compelled to. At the moment, at least, like
no, that's right.
I'm more compelled if we all go together. Really, like, yeah, I don't feel overly compelled to go on my own this year. Like, I know Dan isn't going anywhere. He's gonna be in America for the rest of the time, so I can basically go and visit him whenever. But like, yeah, if we could do, even if you booked off 2 days after or before the half term, then that's almost 10 days that we'd have in America. If 2 of those days are flying, then we still get a full week essentially in America to do stuff.
I mean, yeah, but then also like I'd have to come back and fucking jump straight back into work, dealing with like the fucking jet lag and shit. There were some half terms that are 2 weeks. If it's 2 weeks, fine. I'm not doing it in a 1 week one. That's a lot.
Yeah. See, the only problem with like a big long holiday that's longer than like 7 days is that it's going to cost like an absolute shit ton of money.
Well, no, it would, but we have somewhere to stay. The thing that costs most money there are hotels, which we won't need. It's not going to be as expensive as you think.
I'm guessing like food, or if we're doing stuff. I mean, we're not going to be staying at Dan's house doing nothing all the time.
Yeah, but we also, you say food, we're not going to fancy 5-star restaurants every night. We can just go to Dan's and like get a takeaway or go to the Costco or whatever the fuck and actually just make some food like normally. Like,
yeah, I mean that would still cost. That'll still cost a fair bit.
Yeah, but if we do, I mean, it would cost the same here. You also eat here. I'm saying like.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if we're here, we're earning money at the same time. If you see what I mean.
I mean, yeah, but.
Whereas I'm guessing like if you're living at home with your parents, like, or like with your family don't mind like buying bits and pieces. But if we're at Dan's, like. I know Dan will probably be like, "Hey guys, you have to buy your own stuff."
Yeah, but I'm cool with that. I mean, you mentioned, you say if we're there, we're not earning money, but I assumed it, especially for you, if you were going to go, you'd book it as a holiday, which means you would be getting paid for that.
I would be getting paid, yeah, but I'd also have to pay for like all the stuff at home as well still. even though I'm on holiday. So like if I'm away for like a super long time, it will cost quite a lot. Because like the main thing
it doesn't have
on
to be
holiday,
super long, but I think if we're going to make the effort of going to America, I think it has to be at least 5 days.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
You know.
Which we could do in like the half term, but yeah, if it's like 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like that's going to cost like $2,000.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, 2 or 3 weeks. That's, in my opinion, if you go somewhere for 2 or 3 weeks, that's not. I wouldn't even read. I don't know what that is, but that's not a holiday in my head. That's just like temporarily moving there, and coming back. Like, I think the maximum amount of time someone should be allowed to be on holiday is 10 days.
Well, that's what I'm suggesting. 10 days in the half term, because that's what that would be.
It depends on how long the half term is. Essentially, that's all I can really.
Well, if the half term is just like the 5 days off, then we can. Obviously, that's also the weekend, so that's like 7 days.
No, because again, I have to deal with the fucking jet lag when I get back. It'd have to be during one of the 2 week half terms, which they exist, they happen. It's not impossible, but yeah, I wouldn't want to do it in the 1 week one because the jet lag can fuck you up.
Yeah, are there any 2 week ones in between summer and Christmas?
I can check.
The only one that I know of is the Easter one. I know that one is like longer.
Yeah, that one's 2 weeks. The Easter one. Obviously, the Christmas one is 2 weeks. No.
There's not. No. Is there a 1 week one?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
We probably have to do it then. The only thing I can think of is that if we're gone for if you book off an additional 2 days, or 3 days off work, and then we're in America for 7 days, that means, and it takes us 2 days to get there, so 9 days, then you could have 1 day to basically recover from jet lag.
I'm probably not going to do that. To be blunt. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, we'll figure it out in the future.
Yeah.
And again, we should probably have this conversation with Dan before we actually decide anything.
He did say actually, on the next podcast we do that's close to my birthday to dial him in.
Well, dial him in with his shit fucking microphone. I ain't dialing him in.
You can dial him into the podcast. Didn't we have like a snippet of Dan on his phone in the podcast?
Yeah, a 2-minute snippet, sure.
Yes, as in like that.
Oh, so not a whole episode.
Yeah, not a whole episode with them. Yeah, just that. Yeah.
I mean, we can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your birthday's fucking.
Should be on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Saturday,
yeah.
I mean, you're not going to want to record on your birthday, though. That'd be ridiculous.
I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything for my birthday, so we can do.
I guess we'll say.
Yeah, but yeah. That's pretty much all from me. What have you been up to?
Not much. I mean, I've watched some shit. When I saw Furiosa, which is the Mad Max spin-off. Anything about?
I don't even know what Mad Max is.
Mad Max are a saga of films set in a wasteland America. Australia, sorry. There were 3 scattered around the 70s and 80s, or 80s and 90s, but they were with Mel Gibson. And then,
nice.
Yeah, and then they brought it back, shockingly, in 2015 with Tom Hardy. And in that movie, which is a fucking banging movie, there's a character called Furiosa, and this movie is about her, so it's a spin-off. Yeah, what can I say? So it's pretty good. I mean, Fury Road is, like, genuinely pretty, like, I've got it at an 8, but it could easily be a 9. It's a really fucking brilliant movie. And I went into this not expecting it to really match the awesomeness of that movie. And I was right. But it's not, I don't think a 7, I gave it a 7. I don't think that's harsh. I think it's a fair rating. But, I mean, it also does kind of underplay, because it is a lot of fun. That's the thing about not so much the first 3, but about Fury Road and about this movie. They're very fun. I think it's almost, if you can watch it and, like, just watch it, like, arms crossed, straight face, maybe yawning, I'd be like, you're sociopath, mate. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? So yeah, they're very fun. So yeah, I watched Furiosa. I watched they re-released fucking Harry Potter 3 in the cinema. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Which, I'm not big on the Harry Potter films, but I have seen all of them. And it is the best one, in my opinion. I think Prisoner of Azkaban is the best Harry Potter movie. And, like, it's just it's a good movie. I don't love it. And I didn't want to go, but I did. But it's still a 7. It's just, it's a good movie. It's just not for me. Yeah, I mean, have I been to the cinema much more in the last 3 weeks? I don't think so. I don't think I have. And apart from that, I mean...
I went to watch something in the cinema. Oh, we already talked about it. It was Kingdom of the Planet of the Rise of the whatever.
Oh, the birds. The birds of the Planet of the Apes, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we already talked about that. Yeah, that is literally the last thing that I've seen in the cinema. I haven't seen anything else since then. Even just generally, just at home. I haven't really watched anything at home either. Aside from a couple of Smiling Friends episodes. Obviously, we watched Doctor Who today, which we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah, no, I did. I did see something. I saw they re-released 28 Days Later in the cinema, which is a zombie film. We have talked about it on the podcast before with Tom, because Tom's a really huge fan of the film. It was good, but there was something weird happening during that screening. And it might just... It has to be the film, but at home I've never noticed it. But the film starts, I'm sat there with my sister, and I'm hearing, like, a noise. To me, it sounds like... I don't even know how to describe what it sounds like. My sister thought it was breathing. Like, she thought it was the sound of something breathing. Like, just like, once every, like, minute and a half, maybe, just...
In the cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna have to bleep that. Yeah. But yeah. In our local cinema, yeah.
That cinema is fucked, mate. There's even in one of the screens, there's like a little blue spot.
Yeah, there's the dead
pixel.
Yeah. But I was hearing it, and I don't know why I thought this, but I assumed it was me. As in, like, I didn't think I was hearing things. I assumed that I was the one making that noise.
Well, and every time you heard it, you were just like zoned out and you heard yourself breathing.
No, not even that. I thought maybe, like, because I was hearing the breathing, and then I was thinking, like, after a couple of minutes, I was like, have I got a blocked nose? Like, have I got a cold coming on? Because it did sound a bit like breathing, but I was like, yeah, this must be me. Then my sister went, what is that? This is really annoying me. And then she was like, follow me. And I was like, what? I'm not leaving. And she was like, no, we're going to go sit down so that we can tell if it's the film or if it's where we're sat. And normally I wouldn't do that. I'd refuse. But considering I've seen the movie a lot before, I did. No, it was still very, very audible from where you moved. I don't know. It must have been the film. I've watched things in that screening before, and we were sat near nobody. It wasn't actually a person doing it.
No.
It must have been the film, but I've never heard it at home. Maybe, I mean, you hear different shit.
I've never heard that in the cinema before.
No, I've been to that screen, before and after, and I've not heard it. So it must have been the film.
Or it was like, what if it was just like there was like the film operator up by the fucking
projector
and he was accidentally breathing into like a microphone or something.
I mean, it was so perfectly timed that if it was, it'd be impressive. This guy's got excellent cardio, Because it was very, very frequently, to the point where, like, once you'd gotten into the rhythm, you could just be like, like, you could do it along with it.
Yeah.
It's a good film.
That is very strange, though.
Yeah, we have got Smiling Friends. You haven't seen the latest one still. We didn't watch it.
No, I watched one where it's like Wibbly.
Yeah, the President one.
Yeah.
Yeah. President one's really good. I think that's a really funny episode. I had
the guy with the chicken nuggets and all of the dips.
By coincidence, I rewatched all the ones that have come out so far yesterday. Was it even today? No. Yeah, no, I think it was actually earlier today. I've had a week off work, and my brain has been cooked, and just time melds into each other. I think it was earlier today I rewatched the 4 episodes of season 2. The President one's really good. It's got some really funny fucking bits. My favourite bit in it is after he gives that just mumbling speech with the subtitles, and he comes in and he's like, I did it. And they're like, dude, that was a war criminal. Like, you're supposed to condemn him. Like, really funny.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah.
The Alan episode gave me the biggest laugh I've ever had in the show. At the very...
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah.
At the very end, when the boss is like, open up your hand, son. That's a little version of me, Alan. I want you to have it. I burst out fucking.
Dude, the show is so funny.
No, it is, but that's single-handedly the most the show's made me laugh. I was hysterically laughing at that. I think that's like one of my hypotheticals. I think that was such a fucking hilarious moment. And the latest episode's pretty good. It's weird. The latest episode is themed as a Halloween episode.
I don't think I've seen the latest.
I don't think you would have. There's a demon in it. No.
I don't think I've seen that.
But it's themed as a Halloween episode, as in like it's like spooky, and then at the end, Pim's like, "Happy Halloween, everyone!" And there's like skeletons dancing during the end credits. It's like, why have you released a Halloween episode in June?
Why not? I guess they wanted to. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is a damn funny show.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah. In fact, maybe this is a good reason why, things like what's the show that I'm thinking of? Like the polar opposite, South Park versus this South Park, where they're etching it out as much as they can.
Etching it out?
Yeah, as in like,
Do you mean stretching it out?
Can you not say etching it out?
Well, in what context? Were you
as in like trying to make it, having loads of filler, basically.
Oh, stretch.
Yeah, stretching it out.
Etching it out implies that like they've perfectly planned it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
no, they haven't perfectly planned it. It's the opposite.
So yeah, stretching it out.
Whereas with this one, each episode is only like 10 minutes long.
Yeah,
they've done the opposite, but it's brilliant. Yeah. Like it's really funny, really good.
There is something that's annoying me about the episode length though, which is that they release preview clips on Twitter, and I always end up watching them, and then I look down and it's a minute long, and it's like. That's like a lot of the episode I've actually just watched. Like
the whole episode.
Yeah, like holy shit. Like they shouldn't do preview clips. Yeah. Like in the Alan episode, the preview clip they released was his whole argument with that shopping thing. And it's like the episode has like 7 scenes and that's one of them. Like, that's a big part of the episode.
Shopping thing.
He goes in and it's the guy with 8 arms and he's
oh yes. Yeah,
it was like that entire scene they released as a preview clip and I watched it and then when I watched the episode, I was like, holy shit, it's already halfway through. Like,
yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, we've had Doctor Who, which, yeah, I've been watching, obviously, regularly. You haven't. So we did just finish watching episodes 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
We talked about episode 1 and 2 on the pod before. I think they're a bit naff. This collection is, I mean, I wouldn't argue it's a mixed bag, but it seems you would. I think this run of 3 episodes, I think, is almost entirely very, very good. Apart from 1.
Yeah.
Let's go in order, I guess. Yeah. So season 1, episode 3, otherwise known as series 14, episode 3. Boom.
Yeah.
Written by the Moff. Written by Stephen J. Moffat. The J stands for. I don't think it is J.
Incredible.
Yeah, Stephen's Incredible Moffat. In his first episode since Twice Upon a Time in 2017. The man knows his Who. I love it. I loved this episode. You did not, it seems.
No, I didn't love it, no.
Why not?
I thought the pacing was very strange. It was almost like the first 3 minutes of the episode. It was like I'd just gone from sitting down doing nothing to sitting like halfway through an action movie, and now like all of a sudden we're here. If you know what I mean, kind of. Because like it was like all of a sudden, like the doctor's crying. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like he just steps on a landmine and that's it. I didn't like that personally. I didn't dig that. I felt like there could have been more that could be done. And then at the end, there's this random woman who's like, I love you. And he's like, I never got to tell you that I loved you. And I'm like, who are these people? I don't fucking care about these 2 random people at the end.
We met them at the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the episode, yeah, arguably the pacing is weird, but it's an episode that's set in real time. I love the experimental stuff. This episode's, I loved it. And you say like, oh, he, 3 minutes in, he's crying. The dude's standing on a landmine.
I know, I get that.
I feel like you'd cry immediately if you found out you were still on a landmine.
Probably, yeah. But
instantly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. But like that still makes for like weird pacing, in my opinion. I'd argue he doesn't cry immediately. He goes almost into shock
when he realizes what's going on. He doesn't start crying until Ruby goes to hand him that thing. But at that point, he's not crying for himself. He's crying because if this goes wrong, she is going to die. And then admittedly, he does spend a majority of the episode crying.
Yeah.
But it's a very stressful situation. I mean,
yeah, I know. I didn't think it was bad. I just thought I thought the acting was really good.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it just didn't really connect with me.
No, that's fair.
For whatever reason, I think it was because the pacing was too jarring. It just didn't really connect with me.
I mean, I'm someone who likes more experimental Who. Are you someone who'd say the opposite? You like the more kind of, I'm not going to call it run of the mill, but kind of more classic Who, like, you know?
I think so. Like, I really enjoyed the.
What do you think of Midnight?
Really good.
But there's a very similar episode to Midnight. If you really think about it, it's all set in
very different.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it is, brother. I feel like you should rewatch Midnight. I feel like that actually the pacing is a bit more similar than you think. They're both episodes set in one location in real time, where the Doctor's put in a situation he's not normally in. The Doctor's basically crying. Yeah, but
I know, but that all kind of like comes after everything's been set up. Whereas in this one, it feels almost like the setup is kind of done in and amongst the action, as it were, because it is essentially like the action is pretty much straight away.
Well, you mean are you saying your issue is maybe not exactly this, but you'd rather he steps on the landmine a little bit later into the episode? Almost.
For me, that would probably have made it work a bit more for me. For me, okay. Like it was just like there was just like too much too much was happening that for me didn't like connect or like work.
Do you think your opinion would change for better or worse on a rewatch?
That was what I did think. I think if I rewatched it, I'd maybe have like a different opinion of it.
Because that for the episode after this, which you seem to quite like, I didn't like it a lot at first, and it actually took a rewatch for me to really really love it. Yeah. But yeah, this episode, I mean. This is my favourite of this little run so far, not including the trilogy of 60th. Otherwise, it is still Wild Blue Yonder. But man, there's just something about the way, like, we haven't had Doctor Who this good in a long time.
Yeah, no, I don't think the episode was bad. I think the acting was good. There were lots of bits in there that I didn't.
More than the acting, though, like we haven't had a Doctor this strong, like. Jodie, I couldn't imagine this episode with like Jodie Whittaker because she would just. I love Jodie, but the writing just doesn't support it. I'm talking about like the writing in this, the way the Doctor is being written. You know, him and Ruby, like it's just so fucking. Moffat knows what he's doing when it comes to this shit. I can totally imagine a writer getting given this scenario of the Doctor stood on a landmine and just doing fucking nothing with it. Essentially, You know what I mean? Like just doing fucking nothing, like. Just a technobabble for 50 minutes essentially, I agree in a way that the soldiers who are in love, that is the weakest part of the episode, but it is also like that doesn't make it bad necessarily. Like it gives a good insight into the people who are fighting this war. The war is very important.
Yeah, it does.
I think the guy's the worst one. Monday Flynn's alright, and the woman soldier's fine. I think she's a good character. Like.
I think with like context and hindsight I say hindsight, I mean like looking at it from that sort of way. Yeah, I just think the order that everything happened, like for me, it was just like.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
I get it. It's an experimental episode, 100%.
Yeah, for me, like if with all those same elements in place, but just like a slightly better sort of like pacing and setup and different instruction to everything, maybe would have connected better. But for me, like. It was just like straight away off the bat, like boom, he stepped on the landmine, and then like loads of stuff happened. Yeah, essentially, which is like I don't really like that bit. Whereas in the next episode, it was kind of less of a case of stuff happening.
Yeah. And anyway, so yeah, season 1, episode 4, 73 yards. Another experimental episode, you could say. Well, it isn't. It isn't. It is though. It is really.
I feel like it's more standard.
I don't know. It's funny actually. I feel like this is.
Actually, no. Yeah, I kind of agree.
This is almost like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Well, the next one after this is an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Nice, but yeah, the plot of this one is, you know, they land in Wales. There's a fairy circle that the Doctor steps on and breaks, and then the Doctor fucking just vanishes into thin air, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
And then Ruby begins being followed by a creepy woman who is always 73 yards away from her. And then we just see her Ruby's entire life as this woman constantly follows her. And then she ends up going to like a vendetta against this politician because his nickname was Mad Jack, and one of the notes in the fairy circle said Mad Jack. I don't know. It's genuinely, it's a very strange episode in my opinion. I don't think it's standard at all. But what did you think of it?
So I enjoyed this episode more than I enjoyed the previous one. But, I think I was able to get into this one more. It was more like, I guess like the setup and like the pacing was more sort of like normal. I guess like more traditional.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I quite liked the sort of like the, not horror, but like, I guess kind of like the horror.
No, this is a horror episode. Yeah.
Like, I really liked the, you know, the weird woman in the distance. I thought that was actually
It's pretty effective.
Good. I thought it was quite effective. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it was quite weird. It took there were loads of different sorts of, how do I say?
It goes in two directions.
Yeah. And like at the very beginning when they're in Wales, is it? Yeah. When she goes into that pub, like that has a very different tone in there to like, you know, like later on in the episode. Like
it goes from folk horror to political.
Yeah.
You know, which is a very interesting direction.
Yeah, but I mean I think like kind of like evolution maybe is the right word, like it changing from bit to bit. Like I thought it was good. I didn't really get bored at any point through the episodes.
I mean I will also, like, because we've had a conversation before about Doctor Who where it was during the Toymaker episode and you said that you didn't like the idea of the Toymaker because it kind of defies logic.
Yeah.
Is that something you had an issue with in this episode? Because if you really think about it, there is a lot in this episode that does defy logic. It leaves a lot of questions unanswered.
Yeah, I think for me, the part that is most like that is like, how is this woman able to just be everywhere? That for me is actually the weirdest part. Because like the part where, you know, people aren't able to notice her, the TARDIS does that.
Yeah.
And like, people go up to her and then they get freaked out. I don't think that's really too out there. For me, the weirdest part is that she's like basically immortal because she just stays there, you know, through night and day.
Yeah.
Sun, cold, rain, whatever. And she's like, as she's in the train, she's like just there. Like how,
she's always 73 yards.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it couldn't be an illusion because people are able to like go up to her and talk to her. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Is that something that annoys you though?
Strangely, no. It annoyed me more in the Toymaker because it was more in your face. Like it was really in your face, out there, not scientific at all. This is kind of more like you say, kind of more like the Twilight Zone, kind of more innocuous, more like.
See, in my opinion, I think this episode there's no way of putting it, this is a supernatural episode of Doctor Who. I don't think there's any sci-fi in this episode, actually. I think all of it is supernatural. Everything that happens in this episode is supernatural. Because the first time I watched it, I wasn't annoyed by the lack of answers. Because as a writer, I'm very much of the opinion, like, I saw people on Twitter being like, oh, what was the woman saying? And it's like, well, no, you don't need to know that. Ruby never finds it out. Why the fuck should we? We don't deserve answers. If the character doesn't get an answer, we don't deserve one. We don't need one.
Ruins the suspense. The
idea there is, I mean, Russell T Davies said something a bit cringe, which was like, just, you know, I wrote it so you can use your imagination and you can imagine what could make a mother never want to see her daughter again. And it's like, well, no, don't even think that deeply into it, man. I don't, you know, first of all, that's not why you wrote it. I'm going to be honest, Russ. That wasn't what you had in mind, and I'm really sure of it.
Yeah.
But second, I don't even think it's that. I'm not imagining, Ruby's mum goes up to her and she's like, "Your daughter's a bitch." Like, no, in my opinion, she's probably just muttering. That's the thing. That's because I didn't like the episode at first when I watched it that much. But the more I've thought about it and the more theories I've kind of come up with, the more I appreciate it with my own personal interpretation of the episode. What I think the woman's saying, I reckon she's saying random shit, but it's almost like an incantation. It's almost like a spell that just triggers it.
What I was thinking is that episode of Rick and Morty where Morty just makes that sound and everyone is just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, I'm imagining something like
exactly.
that. She says something almost like, because like it's weird how like they go up to her and she's just doing
doing the shit with her hands,
and then all of a sudden everyone just like turns to look at her, even people who are too far away to hear what the woman might be saying. Like when there were all of those soldiers, even soldiers who weren't like, close to the
next
woman,
to her,
right? So like obviously it's like some sort of weird.
I genuinely, in my head, and it makes it better. She's just like, how many years you guys get? But it's like, whatever it is, it's like she's repeating it over and over. It's like incantation, and it just triggers an instant, not even fight or flight, just flight response. But also, it isn't just a runaway response. You can see with Ruby's mother, there is something, it is centered around Ruby specifically. It's something to hate Ruby. And I was talking to Peter about it. By the way, Peter thinks this is like his favourite episode ever. He fucking adored this episode.
It is a very good episode, yeah.
But I was talking to him and he was like, I would argue this is like, he argues that this is the worst thing that's ever happened to a companion. Like this is actually like the worst case scenario thing. He thinks this is a fate worse than death, this episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, in a way. There's an episode of Sarah Jane Adventures which is actually very similar to this, where Clyde. Do you know Clyde? I swear I've shown you.
I might vaguely remember it. Yeah,
he's the funny one. That's the thing about the episode. That's what makes it really dark. He's like the comic when everyone loves Clyde in the show.
Yeah.
But he gets a splinter from a totem pole, and then anyone who sees, hears, or reads his name instantly hate him. Like hate him.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's worse. But he ends up homeless and shit, and he's using a fake name, and his mum's called the police on him and all that shit. Very similar to what's happened to Ruby in this. But that's worse because that's anyone who just sees his, or, fucking he gets a letter in the mail and that's how his mum says it. His mum just reads it and is instantly like, I hate you, Clyde.
Yeah.
But in this one, if Ruby had just never, acknowledged the woman, she would have had a very normal life. Like, the only reason her mum hates her is because she was like, there's that woman.
Yeah.
Like, if you had just never done that, you would have been fine. You actually could have just had a very normal life with your mum. Never have to acknowledge the fact that it was. So everything bad that happens is Ruby's fault in a way to her.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate hates me. Okay, you went to her. You bring her. That annoyed me a little bit. Let's bring her in. Don't bring her in. Bring Ruby in. She's following Ruby.
Yeah.
Why would you bring the woman in? Yeah. Bring Ruby in, and the woman follows. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is the worst thing that's ever happened to Companion, personally. But yeah, I think the woman's just saying random shit. What do you think happened to? What do you think about the lack of explanation about the Doctor disappearing?
I think that kind of plays into sort of like the vibe of the episode. I think. I think that plays into it, and also the fact that it isn't really addressed in the way that you would expect it to be, and I feel like that adds to like the tension and like the surrealism and the watcher, the viewer, feeling a bit like uncomfortable. It's almost like sort of like uncanny. Which is kind of like because that woman isn't approaching, isn't attacking, doesn't seem like she should be an immediate threat.
It's
but
very
you still
Twilight
feel uncomfortable. Yeah. I think it was a really, really good episode.
Here's my whole theory for the episode. I think literally everything does revolve around that fairy circle. Like, undeniably it revolves around the fairy circle. The Doctor steps on it, breaks the circle. Once the circle is broken, he vanishes from existence. That's fact. That's not my theory. That's what happens. But my theory is this, because we find out at the end that the old woman is Ruby. But we also know that Ruby isn't normal right now because of the snow thing. So my theory is the Doctor steps on a circle, he vanishes, and the fact that Ruby can come back as the woman.
But why does she start doing...
I essentially think she's like stuck in a loop. Like whatever she's saying, whatever incantation she's saying, and this is the only sci-fi-ish element, I guess, but she was essentially guiding Ruby to where she needed to be so that the loop could complete and she could stop it. Because at the very end, she does stop it. The woman's like, don't step. And that's when Ruby's like, whoa, Doctor, you know. So I think at that point, the woman was doing exactly what she needed to in order for the loop to complete. That bit's kind of sci-fi, you know. But I don't think it is sci-fi. I do think it is a purely supernatural threat. And also the Mad Jack. What did you think of the Mad Jack Roger Ap William thing? The politician who she goes to go after.
Yeah, that part kind of seemed to be like how do you say it? Like, not a distraction, but like a dead end.
Yeah.
The viewer thinks that this is the solution, and then it doesn't turn out to be. I don't know what you call that, but like that's
a red herring.
Yeah, that's very clearly just that, in my opinion. Which it works, I think.
See, I like it, except for one thing, and I do really believe this, because it almost, and this is a way I would have improved the episode, because I actually think this really adds to it if they did this. Because at the beginning, the Doctor very randomly brings up Roger Ap William, and it's then like, Aston Theatre, don't worry about it. So then when he reappears, she has a flashback to that, and that almost makes it seem like, that almost reinforces it. What I think they should have done is remove that reference the Doctor made in the beginning. Just have it focused on the Mad Jack element. She finds a note that's like, you know, Mad Jack, and then the people in the pub are fucking with her and being like, Mad Jack is unbound. And then have him in this interview, you know, be like, Mad Jack, they used to call me. Have that literally be it. Because then that reinforces to the audience, not the idea that, oh yeah, this must be it, the Doctor, because that's what the audience are thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, the Doctor mentioned it, so it's going to be something. Don't have it be fucking anything. Like, have the idea of that be that Ruby is literally, you know, she what else can she do? She's literally run out of other options. So suddenly she like almost latches on this politician for like a purpose, because
that it's something.
Yeah, because we know, because of what the Doctor said, that this is actually like a bad guy. Like the Doctor was like, he led Britain into nuclear war and all that shit. Remove that. Have her just suddenly have this vendetta against a fucking random politician. We don't actually know he's bad. We don't need to know he's bad. He's the worst. Forget that. I think it's much more interesting if she just hears the word Mad Jack. Have the flashback to the pub and shit. Have her make that connection. But don't reinforce the idea that her doing this actually means fucking anything.
I feel like that would change the tone to be a lot darker.
I think I'd prefer that.
It would change the tone to be more like she's losing her mind. Like she's starting to get like desperate and disturbed. And,
I mean, yes and no, but... I mean, yes and no. Yes, it would, because that is kind of what would be happening. But no, because you still have the Mad Jack element. This still could have something to do with it. But also, we know it doesn't. Because at the end, when she resets and the loop's complete, the Doctor doesn't step on the circle. Thus, Mad Jack isn't unbound. But he still mentions Roger Ap William before that. Roger Ap William is just a part of the timeline.
Yeah.
He has nothing to do with the circle. Yeah. He doesn't even do anything. Yeah. He's not a supernatural being. He doesn't have fucking horns or shit. He's just a weird Welsh guy who wants to release a bomb.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think that's how they should have.
I think if it took the tone, like the darker tone, I think that would play along nicely with what had been done so far. Of like the slightly more disturbed element of like basically her getting disturbed and just like doing something questionable, basically becoming a terrorist.
Just like taking down this random fucking guy. And don't get me wrong, we can still have, you know, that bit where she's talking to the woman's like, he's a monster. Which, by the way, he raped that woman. That's the implication there in a child show. You know, I'm fine with that. I like the dark shit, but yeah, that's definitely like, you know, he fucked that woman up.
Yeah,
have that be it. You do still find out, okay, he's a piece of shit, but you know, because at this point the audience. I wasn't questioning. I wasn't like... I didn't think for 1 second that her taking down Mad Jack was going to stop the loop.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of the audience were thinking that. So it's like, okay, well, don't make that the purpose. Like, make us question it. Like,
see, I think throughout all of this, we get loads of shots of. Is it Rose? No, it's not Rose. It's
Ruby.
Ruby. Both R's.
Yeah.
We get loads of shots of her basically, coming to that realization of, oh my god, like
Mad Jack, yeah.
No, like the person goes up to the lady and then they turn around and look at her, and then you get that shot of her face, that like realization, heart dropping feeling. We keep seeing that, and we keep seeing her getting broken down.
Also,
there's no tipping point. We don't see her break. I feel like if they had like a part of this that basically showed her completely break.
Well, yeah, and also if they remove, because there's also with them having that bit in the beginning where the doctor's like, Roger Abgrillium, he's the worst of the worst, almost set off a nuclear bomb. That makes it it improves it so much if you remove that, because then suddenly they're in the stadium and she goes to the woman like, I'm sorry I waited so long, I'm sorry I couldn't stop it, I needed to know it was no, you didn't need to, the doctor told you. You let her get raped. What the fuck are you doing? Shoot him in the head immediately with a gun. Yeah. Like, what do you mean you had to make sure? The doctor spelled it out. He was the worst prime minister. He set off nukes and all that shit. Why did you let her if you take out that bit, then it makes it more, obvious that like Ruby is genuinely like, she did have to find out. She seems really sure now that he's going to set off a nuke and destroy the world. That makes a lot more sense if the doctor didn't say at the very beginning, oh yeah, he tries to set off a nuke and destroy them. What were you waiting for?
Yeah.
What were you waiting for?
Yeah.
I do still think it's a really good episode though. And yeah, everyone who's crying about, oh, there's so much left unsaid. What did the woman say? Where did the doctor go? Where did the doctor go?
Almost all of the best episodes of Doctor Who have loads of questions unanswered.
Exactly. What was the Midnight Monster? Fuck you. You don't deserve to know.
Yeah. Like I think the mystery makes it tense.
Yeah.
And it would give you a reason to watch it afterwards. If we ended that with a full explanation of everything, would we really be as compelled to rewatch it again?
See, you are right. But while I appreciate it more on rewatch, it also hasn't made me feel the same as it has on that first watch where I was wondering if we'd get an answer. Now that I know we're not going to get an answer, don't get me wrong, I'm still having fun with it. It's a really good episode. But I'm not as attached as I... Because that first watch, I don't know, there was something about it that was kind of fucking with me. I was like, this is actually really fucking good. And then that's why I didn't like it as much, because when the ending came, I was, I wasn't annoyed, but I was also a bit like, that's a bit unsatisfying. Which I can still kind of argue it is, in a way. But yeah, I don't know. Yes and no. It helps on rewatch. It only doesn't help if the answer's bad. If they were like, oh, the woman's saying, I don't actually know what the bad version of it would be. But...
One of my problems with it, related to not feeling satisfied, I think, is because it felt like the ending / resolution happened really quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
It just fucking happened like that. We had so much build up.
Yeah.
And then like it just ended in like 5 minutes.
No, yeah, you're very right, yeah.
So I feel like that's why I felt like a bit like unsatisfied, a bit like there wasn't enough of an explanation, or like.
I mean, did you figure out before it was shown to you that Ruby was the woman?
No.
To
be honest.
Yeah, you can be honest.
And for me, that also kind of doesn't make any sense because she arrived, she was old.
She came.
She was old, lying down, and the woman came up to her, which means there has to have been a woman in the first place, which isn't her.
Yeah, but no, because it is, because that's what I was saying about the loop. Like, when I say a loop, I don't mean this is always happening. And again, I think we'll find out more about this, because I think this links to whatever power Ruby has that makes it fucking snow randomly. It's not a case where, like, this is always happening. The Doctor royally fucked up when he broke that fairy circle. He vanishes from existence, just completely gone. Oh, where did he go? Is he... No, he's nowhere. He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. He's gone. I also, headcanon theory, the 14th Doctor also vanished. That's just my theory too, because otherwise where the fuck was he during this? Why was he not brought up at all? He was also gone. The Doctor's gone. This timeline happens, and Ruby's power, whatever it may be, because it hasn't been fully explained, but Ruby's power is what makes her into the woman, where she is setting herself up to be in the right position at the right time so that she can go back herself and stop it. It's not a case where like
going
it's
back
always
herself is the old version of herself coming up to her as she's dying and grabbing her.
Yeah, but it's yeah, but you think of, in a way, the older woman, you could say the old woman isn't Ruby. At least it's not the Ruby that we know. But it's a manifestation of what Ruby needed to experience to put her in the right place at the right time, if you get what I mean. Do you get what I mean?
Kind of. I just feel like the physicality of the concept wasn't...
No, yeah, it hasn't been fully explored. And maybe,
yeah.
But I am still holding up because the finale will almost, well, I say almost certainly, but I guess I should just say hopefully explain what Ruby's ability is here.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't think her going back in time, I don't think that was a part of that. I think that was just Ruby. I think she can just do that. I think she's built different.
Yeah. See, I wasn't a massive fan of the it's her but old. Yeah, I feel like I feel like that for me makes it now not scary anymore. The
reason I asked if you'd figured it out is because, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but the second Ruby came out of the van and she was old.
She was old, yeah.
I was immediately like, oh, okay. Like, you've almost shot yourself in the foot there a bit, because like, they show her and then they show the woman in distance, exact same colour hair. And I was like, oh, so she's okay, cool. Yeah. It didn't ruin it for me, but I was a bit like, okay, well, in a way I understand why you waited until the very... Ruby, by the way, Ruby for most of that episode was supposed to be 40. She does not look 40.
Yeah. She
went to the Xavier School of Aging, because no, she clearly looks 20. She's just got glasses.
40 years later.
Yeah, but no, because it's 40 years later when she becomes an old lady. But they show a card at one point where it says happy 40th birthday. So the Ruby, the Ruby who stopped Roger Apguidium, who was just wearing glasses, she was supposed to be 40.
She was not 40.
She was not 40.
Yeah, she was not 40. Yeah. For me, the old woman being her makes it less scary somehow.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, yeah, I think this was a very supernatural episode. I don't think Ruby going back was supernatural. I think that is sci-fi, but the whole circumstances of the Doctor vanishing, I in my head canon, it works so much better if Roger Apguidium Majak genuinely just isn't a part of that. It's a coincidence.
Yeah. I
mean, it's been 26 years later, or whatever it is, and he randomly says Majak and she's instantly like, like, I think that works so much better. Have the audience question if she's actually even doing fucking anything right now, which, by the way, she didn't. She didn't do anything. That timeline was erased anyway.
Yeah.
Roger Apguidium's going to destroy the world in 2046.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a good episode, but there is, I do feel like there was potential for a little bit more. That's why I still prefer Boom. I think Boom sets out to do what it does really fucking well. There's no unleft potential with Boom, in my opinion. I think Boom knows exactly what it was trying to do and it just did it. I feel like this episode is trying to do something more and it hasn't exactly reached the high point it wanted to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like, yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Yeah, actually, now that I say it, if I was to rewatch it, it wouldn't be as good.
I think on rewatch, you would find yourself approving of Boom more and this one less.
Yeah, maybe.
I genuinely do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was, the pacing really nice. I really loved the suspense, but I wouldn't have the suspense anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
Knowing that is just her, old her.
But also, that's a risk with horror in general.
It would have been cooler if, like, the old woman comes up to her as she's dying, and it's the reveal is kind of more that this is like that old woman from afar is actually just
doctor. It's a doctor in a wig. But that's the point though. What would be satisfying? I don't know. Who the fuck is the woman? Like, you know, there's almost no answer that really can be satisfying. You know. Is it truly satisfying if it's not Ruby, but we actually just don't find out? Is that satisfying?
See, what if it's just like some sort of scary entity that they awoke and see, but yeah, you couldn't do this because it's already been done. I was going to say, like, and what if, like, the it comes up to her as she's dying and then all of a sudden we go back to the TARDIS where the thing is and the Doctor steps on it again and then he disappears and then it's kind of, but she still has all of the memories of what's just happened, but then that's essentially just that other episode with the dude. What's his name?
The dude,
old guy, old doctor.
Capaldi. Oh, Heaven Sent. Yeah.
That episode, so they could. I don't think you'd be able to do that. But I feel like that could be interesting, where it's essentially just this demon that's like basically just its intention is to drive her insane for infinity.
But there's also the idea that, because obviously at the end the old woman grabs Ruby and Ruby goes back, but I don't think that's the end of it. I think that was the end of Ruby's timeline. She just died. That's all it was. She died, and that's what closed the loop. I don't think it was once she died and the timeline was over. You know, her power, you could say, properly kicked in so that she could go back and become the woman. And then once Ruby notices the woman before stepping on the circle, that's why the woman just vanishes. The timeline has now been changed. She's got the message across. Don't step. No longer needed. That Ruby no longer exists. You know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there are other things that they could have done to end that, but like that's what they thought of, so that's what they did.
Yeah. And again, it is genuinely a very Twilight Zone episode, which I'm not complaining about. I love Twilight Zone.
And Pete said this is one of his favourite episodes ever.
His favourite. He fucking adores this episode.
It is a really, really good episode.
If he could, I know Pete. If Pete could write Doctor Who, this is the sort of thing he'd want to write for it. You know, he loves shit like this. But yeah, really good episode. Should we do number ratings now, or should we get the next one out of the way and then rate all of them?
Get the next one out of the way.
Let's just get the fucking next one out of the way. Alright, season 1, episode 5. By the way, halfway through the season, like 43 yards was episode 4. There's 8 episodes, so we're officially halfway through.
Yeah.
For better or worse. But yeah, season 1, episode 5, Dot and Bubble.
It's bad. It's bad.
But yeah, so the plot of this episode is that they're in fine time, where everything's fine all the time. And we're following Lindy, who's this social media influencer. And everyone's on their phones because the Dot is the phone. And they're all constantly on TikTok live and fucking video chat. And there's giant slugs eating people. And the Doctor and Ruby are just trying to constantly video call Lindy. But the problem with Lindy is that she's as thick as pig shit. And who's also just a fucking cunt. Yeah. And you don't like her instantly. Like, from the moment she was on screen, I didn't like her. And then you just keep not liking her. And then eventually she just does things. Because a guy comes in, it's him. A guy comes in and just solves all her problems, and then she fucking abandons him.
She kills him.
And then the day is saved. They all hate the Doctor because he's the racist, and then the episode ends. And it's like, oh man, that was terrible. I hated this episode. I really hated this episode.
So bad.
This episode, if the last episode was Twilight Zone, this episode is Black Mirror. I actually think that's very fitting. I think Black Mirror is very overrated.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone isn't. Yeah. Twilight Zone's fucking timeless. Black Mirror, overrated.
Yeah.
Same with this episode. This episode represents both shows perfectly. These 2 episodes. Like, this is everything that's wrong with Black Mirror. This episode is as subtle as a brick being thrown through a window and hitting you in the fucking head. Like, this episode lacks subtlety. I wonder what the message of the episode is. I wonder what the hidden underlining theme of the message is. Could it be that people are too attracted to their phones? Could it be that
they're too superficial and too...
Could it be that being in a vacuum chamber where you're just surrounded by people who talk like you and think like you all the time isn't a good thing? Where?
I mean, they even call it the bubble.
It's literally the bubble.
I don't want to come out of my bubble. They say it many times, yeah.
Like, this episode lacks any subtlety, even fucking slightly. Not a single subtle element in the entire episode.
And it very, very quickly, I say devolved, it started devolving from like the moment it began.
I think the only good scene, apart from the end scene, which we'll get to, the only good scene outside of all that is the one where she's at work and she sees the slug. That's it though. Because in a way, that scene, and I think I usually come to this opinion when I watch shit. I think if you isolated that scene and that was like a little short film, I think it'd be pretty good. Like, you get this superficial cunt at a fucking desk and someone calls in. Like, actually imagine it as a short film, like a short, like, 5-minute short film where, you know, it's set in the future, a woman's at a desk, and a woman comes in and it's like, you know, oh, can you turn off your bubble, all that shit. And then she turns and she just sees a giant fucking slug thing eating someone. And then she comes back and she's in shock and she's like, oh, I want to keep working. if you cut it just before she gets up from her desk and she can't fucking walk, that like little 5-minute bit, I think's really good actually. But it doesn't matter because then after that she gets up and she's like, I can't walk without the arrows. What?
What do you mean you can't walk?
What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
First of all, dumb. But second of all, do you lack any sort of just imagine an arrow. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what forward means. What does that mean? How is she's genuine. She's like, she walks into the desk and is like, and then she walks into the desk and she's like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Yeah, you are. You're a fucking idiot. What is this episode?
The episode's terrible. And the really bright coloured squares that everyone is on with like the bad acting as well. There's a lot of bad acting.
There's a lot of bad acting. Me and Hector, because we were talking about while we were watching it. If any of them were my friends, I'd kill myself. And I think you agree. Because man, they just seem like the most insufferable people. Admittedly. No. I'll be fair to some of them. Gothic Pete, I think his name. Gothic Pete. Yeah, Gothic Pete.
Or something like
he
that.
Seemed okay.
Gothic Paul.
That's it. He seemed okay. Ricky September.
Yes, Ricky September.
You start off thinking that he's really, really fucking cringe because of the fucking TikTok thing. But no, he's the best part of the episode. He's actually a really cool guy. Those two guys I'd get a beer with. Everyone else, literally every other character, including Lindy. As
soon as they start talking to me, I'd slit my throat.
I'd shoot myself in the I'd shoot them first, and then I'd shoot myself in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Just awful, awful characters.
And then seeing like the Doctor and the companion in like a little square, in like a little colourful square, kind of monotone.
Yeah, that's another thing. This episode, because like I wouldn't call this like this is a Doctor Light episode. He's not the main character. He's not really in it much.
Yeah.
But that comes after 73 Yard, which is almost a completely Doctor-free episode. This is an 8-episode season, and we've had 2 episodes in a row where Ncuti Gatwa is barely in it.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to get a good read on this guy?
We went from Ncuti Gatwa crying to no Ncuti Gatwa, and then again no Ncuti Gatwa. Yeah, and they also, like it was actually painful to try and watch all of the actors do a good job.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Square.
But that is also the thing, because you are right. Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson seem very stiff in this episode. Can you fucking blame them?
They're basically like trying to act like as if they're in a call.
Like you see it every time with that really terrible fucking running joke they do where someone's in the call being like, "What do you mean monsters? I'm not gonna go," and then you see the slug crawl into frame and suddenly it just goes statically like it's from the film fucking Unfriended.
The first time that happened,
it's awful.
What was it that I said?
You said it's the last straw.
Yeah,
you wanted to turn it off.
Straw. Because the dude's like, "What do you mean there's slugs? There's no slugs." And then the slug really shittily animated comes into screen and eats him.
But that's where you really get the example, because when that's happening, you've got Millie Gibson and Ncuti Gatwa trying their fucking best. But what are you supposed to do? Because you've got Millie Gibson, and that's another thing. They're both actually like they're doing it like it's like they're looking to the left. Why are you looking to the left? It would be in front of you. But at the same time, that's the director's fault, not theirs. But you get Millie being like, and you get, the Doctor being like, oh, and it's like, what are you supposed to do? What are they actually supposed to do? If I was in a Zoom, if I was in a Discord call with you and your webcam was on and I saw someone...
I wouldn't be going...
Exactly. I see someone coming to... Let's forget the slug. I see someone come into the house and shoot you in the head, point blank with a gun. I'm not going to be there like...
like looking emotive.
I'm below you. I'm below you on the Discord. I look up. I'm like,
yeah, and those other sort of actors that were playing the influencers, like everything was really painful.
They all have terrible names too. Like one of them's like Hoochie Bean.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is with the names in this? Linda Pepperbean and Hoochie Cookie and Tiddly Doo.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is so fucking cringe.
And then also the main character, I didn't think
she's awful.
Was a very good actress.
Oh yeah, she's not a great actress, but she's also like, this is like, and his
unlikable character,
such an unlikable character, but to the point where like, because don't get me wrong, because I saw people on Twitter saying that too, like, your protagonist doesn't have to be likable. I agree.
Yeah.
But
you have to enjoy watching
exactly
the episode.
Exactly. I didn't come out with the movie Joker being like, oh my god, he's such a bad guy.
Yeah.
No, because he's acted well and he's enjoyable to watch. She flat out is fucking unbearable.
Yeah.
Like, all the bit when I first watched it, all the bits where Ruby's trying to talk to her and, you know, it's in the office scene and she's like, so where are you right now? Every time she goes, oh, what are you, stupid? I wanted to punch her in the fucking face. Oh my god, how thick are you? Oh my god, obviously, I don't like you.
Even just to normal questions.
Yeah. I lay in front of you. What am I supposed to look with my eyes? Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with this world? What the fuck is happening? Oh man.
The painful mixture of overacting in like stiff acting scenarios of a colourful box, a bad protagonist, a really terrible storyline, loads of things that didn't make any sense. Not fun.
It's not fun.
Not fun.
Because again, I talked to Peter about it and he said this, and I brought him up on it because I was like, don't you dare disrespect it. But he said this felt like an episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures on like, he worded it as on diarrhea, which I don't know what that means. First of all, no, because Sarah Jane isn't this bad. Yeah. To me, what I think this feels like genuinely, I feel like this is like a Chibnall Who episode. This is like an episode with, I can imagine this being in season 11 with like the 30th Doctor.
Chibnall. Yeah, this
is incredibly Chibnall coded, 100% Chibnall coded.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like, it's what I imagine would happen if someone really autistic tried to direct a movie. Because like you said, no subtlety, literally zero subtlety at all. None.
And it's even weirder because again, what's happening, man? Are you okay? Were you going through some shit when you wrote this episode?
Russell T Davies, I think he was high on glue. I
think the inspiration for this episode, he wrote it in one sitting on a bus when he was looking around and he was just like, who's that kid on his fucking phone? Why are kids always on their phone one day? He wrote it in 30 minutes on a bus and it had no additional rewrites.
Yeah. Remember the Space Babies episodes? That whole way.
First of all, I would so much rather watch Space Babies again than this episode.
The whole way through that, I was saying CBBS. This feels like CBBS.
Yeah.
No, this is CBBS. The colourful squares, the overacting.
This isn't CBBS. You're giving it too much credit. This is YouTube Kids.
This is YouTube Kids. Yeah. It literally.
No, but it actually is. I could imagine. No, but not even that. I can imagine imagine the entire episode where you got the slugs and the screen. Now imagine it in the voice of like Mr. Beast, where it's like, oh my god, who's that fucking?
I can picture it.
Morgs. Do you remember Morgs? He's the guy with the terrible family. He's always like, oh my god, the slugs are outside, and like you get another picture of his mum being like, Morgs, and it's like that's this episode. That's the plot of the episode wouldn't change even fucking slightly if it was them. Like, why did you do this, Ross? Why did you do this? I feel sad for my little brother. For 5 weeks now, because he's watched the trailer. He was really excited for the slugs. He's been like, when's the episode with the slugs? I hope you like it, brother. I fucking don't.
Maybe he will.
I hope he does, but at the same time, what is there to like? Genuinely, this episode sucked so hard. This was a terrible episode.
It was a really bad episode.
And again, okay, let's bring up, first of all, actually, before we bring up the ending, again, the only highlight of this episode is surprisingly Ricky September.
Yeah.
Actually, just a really good guy.
He's a great guy. She sees him and he's like,
it's me.
And
your reaction to that was so fucking funny. You said out loud, almost screamed, who the fuck is that? Oh man, but yeah, the reason why I enjoy him so much, it's him. But and other people have said this on Twitter. He's very doctor-y. And I think, I don't think, but I saw this on Twitter and I agree with it. Someone was like, do you think Russell wrote him to be doctor-y? So that it is basically a statement on the fact that like, it's not that she doesn't, because it just adds to the ending where it's like, no, she doesn't hate the Doctor because of the way he is, because that's how Ricky is. It's literally just his skin colour.
Yeah.
Like, she's a character who could work with the Doctor if he was a white Doctor. And at the same time, I was like, yeah, I mean, that's true, and that's an interesting way of looking at it.
She also killed him.
But she also killed him, because she is just a bad person. But also, I then did a little digging, and no, it's not that. Russell had the idea for this episode in 2011. Stephen Moffat was like, hey, would you want to come on and write for our era? I know you're finished with Doctor Who, but if you wanted to write a random episode. And he came up with this idea back then, and the reason it wasn't made is because the budget would have been too small. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, okay, but then what was the twist? Matt Smith, if you didn't know, isn't black. So you wouldn't have needed the racism element, but also, so my theory is the reason why Ricky, I do think this was a script that was written in 2011 and it's just been updated with TikTok references and shit. Yeah. I think the reason Ricky's like that is because in the original script, that was the Doctor. That was just the 11th Doctor, just doing shit. And he didn't want to change too much. He's got a busy schedule. He's a busy man. And he was like, okay, well, let's just call him Ricky. That's my theory.
See, I think aside from the race, the other reason why she might have been like with you is because like it's made clear from not from the beginning, but from like a couple of references that they have that like these people are elitist.
Yeah.
And like him and the companion aren't from rich families. Yeah. So I feel like that's the only other thing that it could be.
Yeah, but it's definitely not that and the reason it's not that is because, well, first of all, if you actually, and rewatching it today with you has actually made that kind of obvious. But there's actually a lot of context clues to the it's weird to say the twist of racism, but in a way it is a twist.
Racism twist, yeah.
But there is actually a lot of reference. For example, in the very beginning, when the Doctor first calls her, she just immediately blocks him. But when Ruby first calls her, she just...
also the only black guy.
Yeah.
There's not a single black guy anywhere in this entire episode.
Yeah. But apart from that, which is kind of like an obvious way of looking at it. Yeah. But yeah, she immediately blocks him while she just hangs up on Ruby. And then while she's talking to him, she, like, when she sees the slug and the Doctor comes back, she's like, is this something to do with you? Specifically to him. Yeah. And then afterwards, like, he's trying to, like, and she's, there's the bit where she's like, wait, are you both in the same room? Just little shit like that. Like, he's about to talk to her friends and she's like, look, just give him a chance. He's not as stupid as he looks. Like, there's actually a lot of little hints.
Actually, yeah.
Like, if you rewatch, I noticed it while I was watching. I was like, okay, that's actually pretty good foreshadowing. There are a lot of little hints that she doesn't trust the Doctor specifically. She's a lot meaner to the Doctor than she is to Ruby.
Yeah.
Which I thought, okay, I'll give her a little bit of props for that.
No.
But yeah, the ending of the episode is that they Lindy gets out and she gets to the safe point and the Doctor and Ruby are waiting for them and she meets up with her friends, Cookie Joe and Mrs. Tim, and, they're like, oh, we're going to get on a boat and we're going to sail out of Bubble Town and go into the woods. And the Doctor's like, that's a fucking horrible idea. Just come into the TARDIS with me, I'll take you to a fresh new world. And they basically look at him, and they don't actually do this, but they basically all verbally spit on him. Yeah. And this is when it becomes obvious, painfully obvious, because she's like, well, you can't travel with you, because you, sir, pointing you up and down, you, sir, are not one of us. And then you see 100 white faces turn and be like, but is it...
Tell him, sister.
Yeah. You tell him, White Queen. But then, the Doctor's getting, because I really like actually that it doesn't immediately click for the Doctor, but it does click for Ruby, which makes sense. This is very human prejudice, and Ruby grew up with a black family. It actually makes a lot of sense for that. Yeah. The Doctor's only been black for like 4 days, But yeah, and the Doctor's like, look, I don't care. You can think that, you can be racist, but just let me save your lives. That's all I want to do. And they're like, nah, we'd rather take our chances. And they get on the boat, and the Doctor, I think it's first. Also, I found out that this is the very first scene that Shoot You Get was shot. This was, by the way, imagine that. Imagine the first scene as the new Black Doctor is a scene where people are being like, I don't want you to save me. You're black. That's fucked. What a terrible coincidence. I think the ending. I think that scene is really fucking strong. We've got a Black Doctor, introduce things like that. But man, in this episode, I don't know, yes and no. In a way, it's good because I hate these people and I'm glad they're gonna die. But also, man, I wish it was in a stronger episode, Chibnall handled it a lot better. There's an episode an early Jodie Whittaker episode called The Witchfinders where they go to the Salem witch trials. And she's basically dealing with that sort of shit the entire episode, of people being like, you're a woman. And then, you're a woman. They're pointing at the companion, at Graham, and they're like, you must be in charge here. And all that shit. But then when she does finally reveal herself as smart, what happens? She's a witch killer. Like, that episode is a way better look at the bigotry the Doctor's facing as this new, you know, as a new element, as a woman, than this episode was as what the Doctor's facing as a thing, you know, as a black man.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good thing. I did see something on Twitter again, which I thought was actually, I actually think it's a great idea, which is there's a shot missing from the end, which is that they go on the boat and then they go out and they're sailing through the river, through a jungle, you know, through the woods. And then they look around and there's like fucking thousands of slug creatures. And they have that moment of, oh shit, we should have gone with him.
Yeah.
In a way, I do agree. I think that would have been very satisfying.
That would have been really satisfying.
That would have been really fucking satisfying.
Why didn't they do it? I feel like that's also a very Doctor Who thing to do.
It would have been, but it's also, I don't know, maybe that would have been too downer. Like, oh yeah, all these people will die. Like, not might, they're going to die. I'm
sure there's got to be episodes that have done something similar to that.
there are episodes where whole planets have died. Pompeii is in a way similar to that, you know, because you're passing kids and shit who you know are about to die. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't do that, but that would have actually been very satisfying. But yeah, let's do the numbers now. All right, boom. I personally, and I know you're going to disagree, I love this episode, man. This is getting like a strong 8, maybe even a low 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Wow, I really love it.
I fucking love this episode. Apart from Wild Blue Yonder, first of all, yeah, apart from Wild Blue Yonder, this is my favourite episode of this era. But apart from Wild Blue Yonder, this is my favourite episode of Doctor Who since Capaldi in like 8 years, since Heaven Sent. I fucking adored this episode, man. Yeah, strong 8, low 9 out of 10. I love it.
I was going to say 6 or 7.
6 or 7. I'm not going to disagree with you. Again, it's a very experimental episode. It makes sense that people would react differently. I don't criticise that.
Yeah, I say 6 or 7 because I don't think it's bad.
I do think, now that you've gotten the idea of the premise in your head, I do think a rewatch would, you know, I do think it's worth giving it a rewatch at some point in the future. Yeah. So yeah, we've got an 8 to 9 and a 6 or 7. Okay. Yeah. Alright, 73 yards. I'd give this one personally, I think it's a very, very solid 7.
See, I'd give this one an 8 or a 9, I think.
Okay, there you go. Actually, I've changed my mind. It's a 6 to a 7.
Actually, would I give it a 9? No, I wouldn't. That's too generous.
You give it an 8?
I'd give it an 8.
That's fair. I'd give it a 7. A very, very good episode of Doctor Who, but I feel like it's just missing what makes it great.
Yeah.
Dot and Bubble, a fucking 2 out of 10.
Wow.
I hated it. And the only reason it's a 2 is because I do like the ending. I like Ricky. But
that's really bad.
I hated this episode. This is as bad. This is the exact same quality as bad as Chibnall ever fucking was. And I really hope those people who were like, oh, I fucking hate Chibnall, I hate Jodie.
Okay, actually, I suppose, yeah. I think this is worse than M3 and I rated that a 3 out of 10. This is worse than M3
Yeah.
It is.
Unironically, yeah. No, it is. No, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'd give it 2 out of 10 as well, actually. Yeah.
I think a 2 out of 10 is a big thing. And I hope those people who, when, you know, people were like, oh, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker killed Doctor Who, I can't wait for my king, Russell T Davies, to come back. Oh, I would suck his cock. I will come with every episode. I hope all of them finish this episode and immediately punch themselves in the face. Yeah. Because no, this is as bad, if not worse, than anything Chris Chibnall wrote. The worst episode of Chris Chibnall's era, if I really think about it, is Orphan 55. The one where they go to that planet and it's full of dregs. And I showed you this episode. They go to a planet. It's like a desolate planet, but it's also like a theme park. And the theme park breaks down and there's like monsters. And then they get out. You'll remember it from this, hopefully. There's that old woman who just keeps shouting Benny the entire episode.
Oh, yes. No, I do remember that, yes.
That's arguably the worst episode of the Chibnall era. Fuck, man, I'd so much rather we watch that than this. By far.
Here's what I'm wondering. Is this the worst episode of Doctor Who?
Oh, man. Quite honestly. Really, maybe, yeah. This episode's fucking terrible.
I can't think of anything that I'd consider worse.
I'd definitely say even more than this, but I think this is the cringiest episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
If I sat down and watched this with my family, I remember, because the last episode I watched with my whole family was the Christmas one, and I cringed a little bit at the Goblin song. If I sat down and watched this one with my family, I would have gone down the stairs and then left. I would have run away from home and they never would have seen me again.
Yeah, just so you don't have to feel shame.
Imagining my brother walking in, as in Sean, imagining my older brother walking in during the Goblin song and being like, what are you watching? I would have just been like, it's fun, it's Christmas. If he walked in at any point during this episode and was like, "What are you watching?" I'd actually be ashamed. I'd be like, "Oh man, I don't know. It's like it's a kid show. Remember, like it is a kid show. Maybe I am getting too old for this."
Oh,
I would have bowed in defeat if Sean was like, if at any point Sean was like, "What is this?" I would have been like, "Oh man, I don't know." Honestly, I do think there actually could be I think this could be the worst. This actually, I think it is. I think this is the worst episode of Doctor Who. Revival era Doctor Who, at least.
Not classic era Doctor Who.
No, it is worse than classic. There's 1s out of 10s in the classic. But man, yeah, I honestly, this actually might be the worst. In my opinion, it's the worst at least. Yeah. I've got to rewatch this episode at least once because my little brother hasn't seen it yet because he was out when I left this morning, so I'm gonna have to rewatch it tomorrow. But after that, it's very, very likely I'll never watch this episode ever again, ever.
Yeah, terrible.
Ever.
Really, really terrible.
Yeah.
Really bad. Yeah.
One last thing I can comment on because there's a through line in this series, and I want to know if you've picked up on it. Who is she?
Who's who?
She.
Yeah.
Have you noticed it throughout the episodes we watched? The Doctor and Ruby have you?
I don't think so.
So in every episode this season, and Church of Ruby Rose, there's been one actress who has kept appearing in every episode, and we don't know why, and we don't know what it means yet. So in the first episode, she's just on a computer somewhere. In the second episode, she's just like a cafe thing. The Doctor and Ruby don't even mention her, don't even notice her. In the third episode, she is the face on the ambulance.
Yeah, the old lady.
Yeah, the old lady. She's the face on the ambulance. In the fourth episode, 73 yards, she's the hiker that Ruby bumps into.
That's why Ruby's like, do I know you from somewhere?
And then in the fifth one, she's Lindy's mother. And that's when they're finally like, we've seen her before. Let's put a pin in that. But yeah, I really love the fact that they're finally clicking onto it. That's definitely going to come up in the finale somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering if you independently had noticed it was the same woman each time.
To be honest, no, I hadn't noticed that.
You are unobservant.
No, the only part that I noticed was the hiker bit. And I was like, wait, where is that lady from? I recognise her too.
Oh, you did. Yeah. Actually, you should have just imagined her saying thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I guess after 73 yards we might not find out. Maybe we'll just never find out, but I hope we do. Yeah. A lot of people are doing their classic thing. Oh, it's the Rani, it's the monk. I don't fucking know. Some people are idiots, by the way. The actress's name, the actual woman, like the actress in real life, her name is Susan Twist. And people have took that to mean that the twist is going to be she's Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter. And it's like, oh man, that's so fucking... I mean, maybe. but also, that would take so much planning.
Maybe.
It's like that woman would have to have been born for that.
Not maybe, just not.
Well, no, I say maybe because it is possible that Russell noticed that and was like, that would be really funny. I wouldn't actually put it past him to be like, that'd be really funny. So but basing it solely on the fact that the woman's real name is Susan Twist and being like, there's going to be a Susan Twist at the end. Like, I think that's fucking really funny. That's a really funny thing to do. That's like if there was an actor playing a random character whose real name was like Jonathan Masters and people were like, you know, it's the Master, right? It's obvious. Like, it's like, whoa, hold on. Not really. No, it's not. Fucking hell. When Matt Smith was hired as the Doctor, I wonder if people like, I think he's not playing his daughter. I think he's playing Sarah Jane Smith's son. Oh, Matthew Smith. But yeah, I think that's it though.
Yeah. Overall, I think good. The only downside was that last episode. But to be honest, that last episode was also, in a way, so bad that it was...
I think if I am ever going to watch it again, it will be in a group sitting with someone else. First of all, that can't be the first time they've seen it. Because that'd be bad. Unless it's you. I don't mind torturing you. But I'm imagining like sitting in a group and like making Luke watch it or something.
Like that would be so funny.
It would be really funny. But yeah, if I am going to watch it again, I'm going to be really, really drunk.
Yeah.
That's the only possible. Or tripping
like,
balls. I think watching this episode tripping on acid would actually be quite an experience.
I feel like it is one of those episodes that is so bad that you'd be able to watch it and have fun making fun of it.
You'd be able to like. Orphan 55 wasn't that funny to laugh at because it is actually just like kind of pain. Benny!
Yeah.
But this episode has a lot of things. Like every time she bumps into the table or...
It's just dumb.
I'm surprised she didn't turn a corner when the slugs threw a custard pie in her face.
A custard pie.
Bringing it back.
A mud pie. Yeah.
Mud pie. Yeah. Slug pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going back to weekly? I don't know. Anything could happen.
I don't know. We can do. I'd say one of the biggest problems is like... Also, what happened to the Tom episode? We need to get Tom back on.
Yeah, we do.
We need to reschedule that.
Yeah, we'll reschedule that.
Reschedule.
I say
schedule is the American way of saying it.
Yeah, but is it an American-derived word?
No.
You sure?
Schedule? No. Actually, Ben, the only reason, funnily enough, the only reason I know it's schedule is because of Ben.
I'm going to search up if it's an American word, and if it is, then we should say it the way the Americans would. Alright, schedule is...
I mean, it's in the English dictionary, so it's an English word.
No, I'm talking about the origin.
Oh, it would be English, yeah, definitely.
Well, actually, it's not, it's French. It's borrowed from French. But that does mean it leans more towards English, because we borrow from French all the time. Yeah. Alright, I will stand corrected and say, what was it? Schedule. Okay.
Schedule.
Yeah, it depends on the schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know, 20 episodes in a row. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Should this be season 4 or are we still in season 3? I think we're still in season 3.
We're still in season 3.
Yeah.
I think season 4 is going to come when we go to America.
No. I think there's one step before that, which is, well, maybe we won't reach it, but if we do finally do a video element, that'd be season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm still down to do a video element.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like there was something else I was going to say, but I have forgotten. Oh no, I do remember, but it's off podcast. It's just something. Yeah. Alright, in that case, that is it.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Hypothetical question. I almost forgot Bradley's hypothetical question. How could I forget? Alright, here's a hypothetical question for you. Alright, imagine, fucking hell, I should have prepared something. Imagine if you could drive and you were in traffic. You're at a red light, and then an old woman, the oldest woman you've seen, she's like in her 70s. She comes up and knocks on the window, and you take the window down just the tiniest bit, and you're like, "Can I help you?" And she goes, "Is your name Hector?" And she says your full legal name, and you're like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I've been looking for you." And then she goes to reach her hand in the window. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna pull out my machete and cut off her arm.
You don't have a machete. I want honest... I'm trying to get facts here, Hector. What are you going to do? I have a small pipe bomb connected to my driver's wheel. I've got a button behind it. I detonate it and blow her and smithereens. You're not going to do it. What are you going to do? All right. Now, your window's only open a little bit. She hasn't gotten her arm in, but she's clearly trying to. I like to imagine she's gotten her hand in at least. She knows you by name. She's looking for you. What are you going to do? I'm going to pull up the window and cut off all of her fingers with the window. You might not cut it off, but you're just going to do the window up? Yeah. Yeah? Well, she doesn't let you. Well, she's like pulling it down, like with all her strength. I've pre-installed like stronger motors into my window, and there's also don't you take this seriously? There's also like a sharp edge on it as well, so it will cut off her fingers. I mean, you're in a car. You're not just going to speed away. No, you're just. I'm in traffic. You're in traffic. You're not going to break the law. Yeah. All right, imagine you do that. Then you've got a razor sharp window and it cuts off her hand. But then that doesn't stop her, and with a bloody stump on her other hand, she starts like beating against the fucking window. Oh, okay. What are we going to do? Are you not questioning why she wants you? I'd open the window and I'd say, "Stop! Come on, it's me. It's me." And then she'd be like, "Yeah, I know." And then all would be okay. At that point, she pounces on you and bites your Adam's apple out. Holy shit! No, not my. You shouldn't have gone out of the car. Fuck! You shouldn't have gone out of the car. I did have a hypothetical question actually. I just remembered. Oh shit! For me. Yeah. Okay. Well, since you don't engage with my one, I suppose I'll engage with yours. Yeah. I don't know what I'd do. I guess I'd just close the window and drive away. Probably. Okay, you drive away. Yeah. Okay, imagine you drive away and you're like,
Let me ask my one.
you shouldn't have asked. You shouldn't have answered. Imagine you're driving away and you're like, oh, finally it's over. But then you look in the rearview mirror and she's on all fours chasing you at the exact same pace and speed as your car.
At that point, I'd let her get really close,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd brake, and she'd straight into the back.
And you know what?
Die.
That's a very good answer. That's the sort of answer I'm looking for. Not, oh yeah, I've got a pipe bomb. No, that's a very realistic answer. I do believe you would do that in that scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can ask.
Right. Okay,
I'm looking for facts, Hector.
So, me and Shimon, we went for like a hike, which actually I think we should do because we found this really cool place close to where I live. So like I've gone for a walk in that direction a couple of times, and there's like a hill bit, and I've always noticed in the distance there's like a really cool.
There's an old woman doing hands.
Yeah, oh, Jesus. I mean, I have nightmares about that. That's actually something that I could have nightmares about.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a very adult. Like my little brother wasn't that scared. I feel like that's more for adults. That's scarier to adults than it is kids.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But go on.
Every time I've gone up on that walk, I've noticed that there's like a really thick, dense looking, cool looking forest in the distance. And every time I've gone there, I've thought, I really want to go to that forest, but it looks like it's too far away, so I'm not going to try. So then the other week I was like, you know what? We're going for an adventure. We are going to that forest. It took us about 2.5 hours to walk there. Or maybe 2 hours, maybe 1.5 hours. But anyway, it took us some time to get there. And we got there, and the forest is big. And it's like, I don't know how to say this without it sounding dumb, but like, it was like a proper forest.
Yeah. Like a Blair Witch forest.
like
easy to get lost in, essentially.
Yeah, but like also like when you go to a park, like you can walk around in the forest easily, but in like a real actual forest, you can't do that because the bottom is too dense. There's too much shit.
It's uneven.
Yeah. Which like if we go there, you'll see what I mean. And so there was like a path going through the forest, and we went up through this path. And the first thing that I noticed in the distance, I couldn't quite see it. Now, also bear in mind, this is like way middle of nowhere. There are no people. Also, there's no signal because we're in a forest. And I could see all the way up at the top of this path, there was like a chair. And I was like, okay, now I feel uneasy because there's a chair in the middle of this.
We both
really
said
dense,
the word uneasy. Though,
yeah, like there's this chair in the middle of this really, really dense, like real forest. Like this isn't a park. This isn't a wildlife area. People don't come here, and there is just a chair up there.
Yeah,
and like. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, now I feel tense, and I could feel like the adrenaline a little bit because I was looking around like, are there people here? And so we slowly walked up, and like I used my phone actually because you can zoom in, and I was like, yeah, that is just a chair up there. So we walked up, and lo and behold, there was a chair just there. We looked at it.
Cool. What sort of chair?
Imagine like just like one from school.
Oh, what, plastic?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just imagine like a school chair, like from a school classroom.
Okay, that's strange.
Yeah.
That's the weird, that's not the weirdest, but that's one of the weirdest sort of chairs you could imagine. If you were just like, oh, a wicker chair, I would have been like, that's fair.
Yeah. No, this is like, like a school chair. Like
child's chair? Small chair, big chair?
I think just like normal sized sort of chair.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird that there's just a chair here. And so we carried on walking along the path, and we carried on. And then we see this giant fence, like this giant fenced off area in the middle of this forest, almost as if they've fenced off like the very, very center of the forest, and we've just gone around it. And there was like a huge gate, like heavy, big, like wooden, properly strong built gate. And it looked like it had just been completely ripped clean off. It was like, and it's like huge, like absolutely gigantic. It had been ripped clean off. All of this metal fencing had been like, as if something from the other side had like burst through and broken the gate and like broken the fencing. And I was like, okay, now I feel even more uneasy.
Yeah.
Because then on this side, in this part of the forest, it looked like darker. It was like taller trees, like fern trees. And so I was like, okay, now I feel a bit scared.
It was like the forest and smiling fence when he goes on the other side of the bridge.
Exactly like that. And literally to the point, my girlfriend, she was like, I'm scared. Let's go home.
Oh, I really want to go now.
Exactly. Yeah. And so my hypothetical question for you is that, let's say you go there. Now, one of the things that I thought is, why would they have this section of the forest fenced off?
Yeah.
My first thoughts were, okay, what if a farmer owns this land and he's fenced off the centre of this because they go here and they do shooting? Because also, why is there a path that leads directly up to this? So I thought the only thing I could think of, like groups of farmers and people must come here to do game, like to shoot shit.
Yeah.
And that's why they fenced off so all the animals can't escape. So what if you went here and you started hearing gunshots every so often, like around you, close to you?
Am I alone?
You're alone in this scenario.
Okay, that changes it a bit. If I'm alone, I've got no signal, you said, but I still have my phone.
Yeah, you still have your phone.
Okay. I mean, if I'm hearing gunshots and they're not close to me necessarily, but they're on the other side of that forest. I mean, if the question is, am I entering the forest? Not alone. No, I'm not that suicidal. I'd enter it with someone. But am I also immediately feeling threatened? I mean, no. I'm a bit like, maybe I jump at them, like, oh, that was loud. But am I being like, oh my God, someone's shooting at me?
My main question is, would you like start shouting so that they know you're there so you don't get accidentally shot?
No.
You wouldn't?
No. I would probably, once I recognise it's a gunshot. I mean, I'm not in that bit of the forest though.
Oh, no, I'm saying as if like.
Oh, if I had gone in that bit of the forest.
Yeah, and then that happens.
Oh yeah, 100% then. Yeah. I'd be like, ceasefire, like. Essentially.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, why do you say that? How far into the forest am I? Am I still on the outskirts? If I'm on the outskirts, I'm just running.
You're in the forest.
I'm in the forest.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would shout, but at the same time, I do accept the fact that there's a risk with that, which is that who knows who's shooting. This could actually be. They could have been shooting for me for all I know, Maybe they miss and they're like, where is he? And suddenly I'm shouting, don't fire! It's like, oh, there he is. Aim lower down, But yeah, no, in that scenario, I guess I am shouting, but at the same time, I'm really heavily thinking, oh shit, what were they shooting at? Because if they weren't shooting at me, then I could be in even more danger. I get down, I do shout ceasefire, but I get down and I immediately head in the direction that I've come from. Like my main goal is to get out of there.
Yeah.
And also, since this is a hypothetical that you've given, I also do just randomly have a giant catapult. And I get in it and I pull the lever and I catapult and I fly. And I've also got a parachute. I fly up high in the air and then I parachute and I parasail down to directly my house.
Okay, second hypothetical. You're in this forest.
Also, I have a bigger gun.
You're in this forest, but you're with me, Leander, and Shermong, and we're fucking around. We've had some drinks, and now it's.
I mean this. Make Shermong Daniel, and it's a very different story. Because if Shermong's there, I know that's gonna affect the dynamic in terms of like, okay, well, you've got someone you love here. There's actually kind of more at risk for you, and if there's more at risk for you, I don't want to see you get out. That means there's more at risk for me. If it's just us, me, you, Leander, and Daniel, and we're all drunk, it's going to be a very different scenario, and I think it's the more fun one. So change it for the story. Sure. I think it's the funner scenario.
Let's say it's us four. We're in the forest. It's late at night. We're fucking around. And yeah, we're like, and when I say this forest is big, I mean like it is really big. Yeah. Like if you look at it on the map, it's bigger than Linton. It is a really big forest, right? And so I'm pretty sure we'd walked like pretty much into the center of this forest when we saw that chair, which was why like even though it was really far in the distance, as soon as I saw it, I felt really uneasy.
First of all, I would be going to check out the chair. If I saw the chair, I'd go to the chair.
The hypothetical here is that it's nighttime. You see the chair in the distance, but you're pretty sure you can see like a naked man sitting in the chair.
Oh, that changes it.
As soon as I see that, Adrenaline is pouring through me. I am now really scared.
No. Okay, I mean, how far away is it again? You said it was far enough away that you had to get out your phone and zoom in.
It was far enough away that I had to use my phone and zoom like 10 times in to see it.
10 times in. So it's actually, it's pretty far away.
It is pretty far away, but it was far away enough for me to be able to see it and be like, what is that?
Okay, yeah. Now, if it's higher enough, I mean, if you really think about that logically, even if we see the naked guy, that doesn't mean they see us. We're surrounded by trees, it's night. They're up higher, so that we've got the advantage of being able to look up and see his silhouette in the night sky, essentially. It doesn't mean he's seen us. So if that happens, don't get me wrong, we're getting out of there. But I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be like, run. Like, no. Back away slowly, and also slow enough that we can keep eyes on him and see if he actually notices us and moves. Don't get me wrong, if he suddenly gets out of the chair and starts sprinting in our direction, fucking run. But don't immediately run. Don't create swift movements that he can see. Back out slowly. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Now, how do I know he's naked? Has he got a huge cock? Because it's night. How do I know he's naked?
You know he's naked because you can see like a white figure in a chair. If he's wearing clothes, it's harder to see. But if a naked man is in a chair, like,
well,
you know what I mean, yeah.
Can his clothes be on like a scarecrow next to him?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't add anything. I just think it's fun.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, okay, naked man in the chair. We've seen him. What if he's already looking at us?
Okay, and we know he's looking at us.
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, how big of a guy are we talking? There's 4 of us. There's 4 dudes. We could probably take him.
No, I'm thinking I'd be scared of like supernatural-esque things.
Oh no, that'd be the least of my worries.
No, that would be the top of my list.
Really?
Like, one man in a chair, I'm not scared. Why is a naked man sitting in a chair in the middle of the forest in the middle of nowhere? In my head,
crack.
This is probably not a man.
So no, I wouldn't be thinking that. I do think I'd very much be being like, okay, that is a man. It's clearly a very crazy man, but it is a man nonetheless. So, and if he bleeds, we can kill it. Because also you really got to think about that. If it was, say it was some supernatural entity that's already seen us, I mean, at that point, you're dead already. Best case scenario, it's a man. So you better hope it's a man, and you might as well think it's a man. Because if it's anything other than a man, you're probably going to die anyway. Yeah. It's in your best interest to act and think and believe that it's a man.
That's true. Yeah.
There's no point looking at it and being like, oh my god, it's a skinwalker. No, that's not going to do you any good. So look at it and be like, okay, if it looks like a man, it talks like a man, it's got a cock like a man, it's a man. You know? At this point, what's clearly happening in this Hypothetical actually is that we've all looked up, we see the naked man, you start shitting, pissing and crying because you think it's a monster, and I have to stop you and be like, pull yourself together, man. It's just a crack addict. He's on heroin, Hector.
My reaction would be, this is the shape. Let's get the fuck out of here. Essentially would be my reaction.
Look, the shape was, don't get me wrong, that was genuinely creepy, but we were 17. Like, no, we're adults now. I'm not, if we were in that situation again, I don't think I'd be nearly as scared.
Yeah. I mean, I'm now more detached from reality than I was when I was 17.
You'd be more scared, you're saying?
So I'd be more scared now.
I genuinely would be less scared, I believe. I wouldn't be running, I know that. I wouldn't be running unless I saw something. I wouldn't be running at the implication like I was when I was 17.
See, again, yeah, if my girlfriend is there, but then again, my brother's with us. But if my girlfriend's there, then maybe it changes it.
No, Shimon being there changes it completely. Yeah. Whether or not it's a man or a skinwalker, if in your best interest, I'd be like, we gotta go.
Yeah,
you know. But if it's just us, the boys, I'm not immediately being like, we've got to go. I'm being like, oh, we might as well just stay for a bit, see what happens, keep an eye on them. Like,
yeah, no, I'd probably be like, yeah, let's get the fuck out. Yeah,
it interests me that you'd be more scared. I genuinely do think I'd be less scared. I'm not more detached from reality. I'm very much more based in reality. Biggest monsters in this world are human. And if there's 4 men against 1, and he's naked, we can all grab his cock and twist it. Like, no, we're probably going to win that fight, brother. The only way we're not winning that fight is if he's got a weapon. But then again, he's not Batman, you know, he's not a ninja.
Alright, how about we see him looking at us.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we see him begin building a sniper rifle.
and then as we're discussing it amongst ourselves, we look back and he's not in the chair anymore and we can't see him.
get the fuck out of that. Run. At that point, no, I'm not an idiot. At that point, you run.
Yeah.
Because also, I mean, the idea that he actually, we don't know how fast he is. There's a difference. If we see him get off the chair and start running, you actually kind of have a grasp of, okay, that's his top speed. If you look away, look back and he's vanished, it's like, holy shit. That could have been instantly. He could have teleported for I fucking know. Like, no, I've got no frame of reference for how fast this guy is, how powerful this guy is, how tall this guy is. Now, at that point, yeah, I'm 100% being like, run.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
Here's a twist on that. So we've looked up, we see the guy, we see him naked, we see him looking for us, and then we kind of start whispering to ourselves, oh man, what's going on? Where is he? Where's the guy? And then we look up and the guy's gone, and you're panicking, you're like, where's the fucking guy? And then you hear the guy go, I'm here. And he jumps out and he goes, ah, and he starts strangling. What would you do? What would you do? I know what I'm doing. I'm getting the fuck out of there.
I'm detonating the small nuclear device in my back pocket, destroying the forest, obliterating it, kill it all, burn it all.
Oh, would that be a good horror movie scene, to be fair? Where is he? I'm here. And it's just like, it's just, he's there suddenly, instantly.
I don't think so. No, I in my opinion, I relish, or I get more fear from like
the unknown.
Yeah, the unknown, like the suspense.
I think
oh my god, he could be coming for us. Oh my god.
I think the only way it works is if he's like, it's obviously inhuman that he's come here. Like he's like half a mile away with binoculars and he disappears and suddenly like almost like the Flash. Like, where did he go? I'm here. Like, and suddenly it's like, what the fuck? How did he get there? Like, that's the only way it could be.
Worse yet, you've got the binoculars. You're kind of like in like a outpost that's in the forest, kind of like, oh, what's that game that PewDiePie played that's like you're a firefighter and you're at an outpost in the middle of a forest. You might not know what it is.
No idea.
Yeah, no, but like imagine like wooden shack type thing, outpost in the forest. You're looking through binoculars, you see this naked man sitting in a chair in the distance, and you kind of like get something from the desk, and then look again, he's not there anymore, and then you're looking around, and you hear the door creak behind you, and then you quickly turn around and you see just a shoulder quickly shift out of view behind the door. That for me is way scarier than like. Oh
no! What's scary to me there is the same scenario. So you see binoculars, you bend down for something, you look, and it's gone. You're still looking for the binoculars. Like, where's it gone? You don't hear the door creak. You just hear as footsteps run.
Yeah,
like that. Because there's a scene in. Have you seen Get Out?
Jordan, is that the black guy?
Yeah, it's Jordan Peele's first.
Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant film.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the
memes.
I've seen the memes. Yeah. I've seen the trailer.
Well, there's a shot in that film that I think is really just so effectively terrifying, where he's out,
dude running towards him.
Exactly that. I think the image of a dude running towards you like that is just flat out fucking terrifying. Terrifying. There's something about it, stuff like that. There's a shot in 73 Yards. Just to bring that back quickly, that when I first saw it, fucked me up. I don't know what it was. It activated. It's almost like the woman had spoken to me. It activated my fight or flight, and I had a visceral reaction. Like, this shot happened. I'm about to show you the shot. This happened, and in my chair, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, It's the bit where Ruby runs away, and it cuts to where Kate runs away, and it cuts to Ruby. Yeah. There's something about her fucking eyes and just the general framing and feeling of this shot. Fucking terrified me. I think that shot is so fucking effective. Fucking terrified me, that shot.
Which person is that when the person runs away?
Kate runs away. Kate's like, disengage.
Yeah.
And it just cuts to her and it's like slow motion. She goes, oh, but that her fucking eyes. There was something about first time I watched it. I think I out loud went, fuck off. Like, yeah. Well, You look for the binoculars, there's the naked guy, you're like, oh my god, get out of here. And then you run off, and then you look for the binoculars again, and he's 73 yards away from you, and he follows you for the rest of his life.
God, fucking damn. Yeah, if that was me, obviously, I'd just get a gun and shoot at it. He's always 73 yards away.
Do you think Ruby ever tried shooting it? No, she specifically didn't, because she was like, what if I kill it and it kills me, and like, I'm connected to it?
Yeah.
I would stop you. You'd get a gun. I'd stop you. I'd be like, wait, Hector, it could kill you, like you could be connected to it.
I'd unload every single piece of firepower I've got into that bitch.
Right. Final part of the hypothetical. Looking for the binoculars, naked guy. He's seen you. He begins running at you. And, you're running away, but he's clearly faster than you. He's catching up. He's about to catch up. You're like, oh my God, you're getting ready for a fight. You're getting ready to die. And then he comes out of the bushes and he's like, oh, hey guys. How you guys doing tonight? You having a good night? And you're terrified. You're like, wait. And he's like, well, guys, calm down. I noticed you from the distance. I just wanted to make sure you were right. This forest is a big forest, it's a proper forest. So you're not lost or anything. You're like, no. And he's like, okay, just making sure. Hey, you have a good guy. You have a good night, guys. And then he actually does leave, and you never see him again.
Oh, he just leaves.
Yeah, that's
what would I do? Nothing.
Would you spend the rest of your life panicked in fear, though? Or?
I'd go home. Yeah, I'd go home.
And even as he goes, like, I'm brave enough. I'm like, why are you naked, by the way? And he's like, oh, I'm just a nudist, man. There's a whole nudist colony over there. And then he just leaves, and you never see him again.
I'd shoot him in the back of the head.
You'd still hit him.
Yeah. I'd shoot him as soon as he turns around. Yeah.
That's a quite funny image, though. Like, he's like rustling for the junk, like, oh, hey guys. Like, I like that.
And then this guy. Yeah.
But yeah, alright, that's where we are.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Make sure to share this podcast on your TikToks, your Hoobastanks, your WhatsApps. Share it with all your friends and family. Share it with yourself.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, on Spotify, on Anchor, and you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel too.
Yeah. Also rewatch this episode 25 times. Yeah. So each of our viewers gives us 25 times the amount of money.
Yeah. And also don't just share us with your friends, but learn the episodes off by heart and perform them to your friends and family. Become
us. Put on little Bradley and Hector wigs and go around with your own Nethergreen podcast.
The first person we see who does a fully fledged puppet show of the Nethergreen podcast gets $10,000 US.
Thanks.
Bye.